Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good, Daniel. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Sorry, I prematurely messaged you for the link. I was starting to panic. I was like, oh, I don't want to be like a no-show my very first day.
It happens all the time.
All
You're
right.
you're not you're not the first. I would say like 20% of people the same thing happens to.
Okay.
How's it going though? How's your weekend?
It was good, man. Very productive. You know, talked with wifey about all this, and she's on board. So yeah.
Talk to me about that. What's been going on with that with her in terms of your conversation with her? I know it's kind of probably like feels like drinking from a fire hose with all this material and all this content. Uh, what have you shared with her? And like I guess like what is her 2 cents?
Just like like the whole like process as far as I mean everything's on my wall here. Like the ads, the funnels, the model as far as not paying for the videos but paying for um the leads and like managing the ads, and she thought it all sounded great. So just nice to have her backing.
Yeah.
What's up,
Um,
guys?
what up, mate?
I
How's it going?
It's going good, Mason. It's good to have
What's that? Looks like you got a whiteboard behind you.
you.
Is
Yeah,
that just like a big shopping list, or what's going on back there?
That's CMCCC stuff.
Oh, I like that.
Daniel's been going ham.
got you, man.
Tony, Adam, how are you guys doing?
What's up? Doing good,
What's
man.
up, Kashik?
Not much. You guys have separated. Everybody's in their own home now.
Thankfully.
Yeah, and I'm still set up on a computer with no webcam, so I'm probably gonna switch to this later in the meeting. I just wanted to say hey.
Cool.
Um, um,
Sounds good.
but yes. Yeah, we're
MacGyvering.
good.
Cool.
Tony, did you get the reply to your video, the one video?
Dude, I'm sorry. I saw that you replied. Like the actual film industry has finally started to pick up here in Wilmington after like a year and a half of just being dry. So I'm trying to pick off some one-offs. I didn't get a chance to read it though, bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, I think we have pretty much everybody for the most part. Who's missing so far? So far, we are missing. I was here, Adam, Tony, Jorge. Will we hop in shortly? We got Billy, Jacob, Ethan. Okay, cool. All right, so we got most people in here. Um, hope everybody's doing well. Aman, Billy, hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah, doing good.
Good. Um, Daniel, hope you're doing well.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
I don't know what I'm gonna do about all these Daniel. Mason, we got three Daniels now. We got Daniel Riviera.
Yeah, I saw. We gotta bring out the turtleneck nicknames back.
Well, I call Daniel Booth. So
Okay, yeah, I usually call him the kangaroo, so that works for us.
okay. So all right, so since we got most people in here, we're gonna go ahead and get started, guys. Guys, in typical fashion, we have somebody new here. Jorge, hope you're doing well, bro. Um, typical fashion, guys, we have somebody brand new in here, Daniel, and we wanted to let's give him a spotlight to introduce himself, and then all of us please listen intently, and then after he's kind of shared a little bit about himself, we'll go around. Maybe I'll call on some of you guys to kind of give your 2 cents or answer his question. So please let's give him a welcome like everybody else has had a warm welcome. Daniel, if you can take this, you want go and take the stage, man. Share a little bit about who you are, what brought you here, what your goals are, and then most importantly, one question that you had that you wanted to just ask the group in general, and then a few of the guys can maybe chime in and answer that question for you, man.
Um, yeah. Sorry about that. My name is Daniel. You can call me Dan. I go by Dan. So maybe that'll help out. Um, what brought me here was just like a point of pain, right? So I was just I was employed 9 to 5, a W-2 job as a media director for a nonprofit organization, and a media director, meaning I produced all their content or, oversaw their content. We had a team of, 4 people in our creative department. And then the rug got pulled out for me. I was let go in December. I was there for about 6 years. And so since from December to now, they gave me a nice severance. My wife is employed, so like with our severance and savings and my wife's job, like we're staying afloat. But now it's time for me to either like get shit going as far as like starting my own business or having to succumb to another 9 to 5 W-2, which I don't want to do. So I guess that's what brought me here. I've heard of this, you not selling the videos, but selling the advertising kind of thing. I've heard that concept for the first time in 2020. So since there, I was kind of like interested, but never interested enough to kind of continue searching. But then, like I said, once I got let go, had to start making some moves. As far as goals, long-term goals are, to be able to support my family and my wife, not having to work. That's long-term goals. As far as short-term, I mean, the 6 figure, 6 weeks, I mean, that's my goal. And as far as questions, I guess I have a lot of questions all the time. And so my main concern is selling. So if any of you guys like, I was telling Kaushik, when I first met him online, that I've never been a salesman, and so like that was a part where I kind of was like, well, I have to figure it out, and like so if any of you identify with that or that and have overcome that, that'd be nice to know, encouraging to know.
So is your question, if we were to rephrase your question, maybe Daniel, it's hey, I don't particularly enjoy sales, just through my background, who I am. Has anybody maybe made the transition from being similar to me to, crushing at sales or feeling comfortable? So is that maybe what your question is?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Solid question, man. Thank you for the introduction. And in terms of your question, does anybody in here want to chime in? A few people I particularly would like to call on would be like Adam, for example, Adam and Tony. Adam, you're kind of the yin versus the yang. Aman, I know your kind of experience where you were like, it was like revolting to do sales, and now you're very different. So I think some of those people, but like anybody else that if you want to chime in as well, by all means.
Sure. Yeah, man. I don't have much of a sales background at all. Lots of creative meetings, lots of like conversations with clients once the project is already closed. But this was kind of like my first time like cold calling and like having a legit script, like a very well thought out sales script with how to handle certain objections. And it just takes reps, man. Like it's going to be super, super uncomfortable at first. You're going to feel like you don't know what you're talking about, and you probably don't. Like it might take you a while to understand what you're talking about. But my biggest piece of advice, man, is just to trust Kaushik's scripts that he has, even if like you look at it and you're like, oh, I don't think I sound like that, or like I would go about this a different way. Just trust the script because it's laid out in a way that that just makes sense once you kind of get your feet wet. But it's definitely going to take some time. So I would just say come to these calls with like as many questions as you can. Send Kaushik as many recordings of your sales calls as you can, or discovery calls. Yeah, I think you'll do great, man. Just don't be so hard on yourself.
Great. Thank you.
Tony, is there something you wanted to add to that kind of, yin and yang with Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I had a lot of, not a lot, but some sales experience. And I mean, you're in videography, right? So you've had experience selling your own videos. It's just basically taking that skill set and adding a lot more detail and nuance to your sales pitch. And ultimately, I mean, it's going to help you with your video business be able to sell better with or without this exact like protocol, right? For marketing. So like, let's say you get hit up next week for like, or maybe next month, let's say for a $30,000 gig, it might be an easier close for you. And in fact, I will say it will be an easier close for you than it was previously because a lot of these systems and tools I didn't really know before. And I didn't have like amazing, I wasn't like cold calling people or anything like that. I was just taking warm leads in and converting them into video sales, like pretty much everybody else here, I think.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean it's very convertible to your everyday use and you know, you'll be fine. You know, you're audible, I can hear you just fine. And that's pretty much all it takes is you have a face and you can speak and I can understand you.
All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
One other reason I wanted to just call upon Tony, I should have pre-framed this, is just like Tony had a solid win just like a few days ago. Right, Tony? They were able to close a nice, I don't know if I should air it out in terms of the budget. Okay. So it was a nice $10,000 deal paid in full that, Tony was able to get. And one of the things that he said was that he applied some of the teachings, the principles, the scripts to that. And that's what allowed him to sell the paid in full for 10 grand. So I just want to kind of piggyback off of what Tony said, because he said that a lot of this stuff is going to apply. And so that was like not even a paid advertising thing. It was like a regular just video thing, but he's applying the teachings to that. So it applies. Like he said, it's universal. So just want to throw that in there as well. And then Aman, is there something you want to share?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, Dan. Welcome to the coaching and yeah, thank you for sharing that story about your job and everything. If you had asked the question like, what is the thing that we like got most from this program, it would be the sales aspect. So what I mean by that is that I feel like all of us came in here just not knowing how to do sales at all. We all like, I think, hated it, to be honest. But that's the biggest thing that, we do focus on is like learning those skills. Because I think that's really the missing piece to like having any success with like videography and just business in general. So, if that's like a concern, just know we were all in the same place that you were. And, what's great about gaining the skill and learning the ads and everything is that, you get to a place where you're not really wondering where your next like client comes from. You don't know, you're not wondering where your next lead comes from. And when you have like sales skills, it's always in your hands. Like when you kind of know your numbers, like you'll always kind of determine what your future will be. And you don't have to rely on that 9 to 5 job, for your future. You have the skills and that's always going to carry with you. So I would just, show up to all these calls, trust the process, stick to everything as closely as possible and you're gonna get that soon. And I think everyone here can agree, like it's gonna carry with you everywhere.
Thank you so much, Aman. So
Yeah, thank you.
I hope that all helps. Daniel, just kind of like, just like hopefully that like calms a little bit of anxiety in you. Some of the main things I like took away from the three guys is just like, reps. Like hopefully you've kind of noticed that pattern with Aman and Adam, just like saying, hey, just trust the process, do the reps, and it'll fall together for you eventually in due time. And then the last thing is just it's so applicable in like so many facets of life and in life and in business. So there's not really much more to say other than just trust the process and do the reps, man, and you'll get better. And again, myself, Mason, even the guys in here, we just have so much experience with sales. A lot of us at this point where I can look at somebody and I can just like know if they're going to crush you or not. I just can. And so I look at somebody like you and maybe, Alman's going to pick up on this. Maybe some of the guys are going to pick up on this. Like I look at you, I look at your demeanor and it's like, as long as you understand the game of chess, which is like tactically what to say, why to say it, how to increase the tonality of your voice, all that stuff. If you understand the game of chess, then you're going to be fine because you have the one thing that I cannot teach, which is like the tonality and how you carry yourself and your energy. That I cannot teach. And you just seem to have that. So I think you learn the game of chess, man. I think you're going to be just fine.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. So that being said, guys, thank you for everybody. Thank you for giving Daniel a warm welcome. And let's get started. So in terms of getting started, I think, Daniel, you were first. Did you get a chance to read my response?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And yeah, sorry for all those questions. And I guess I was just confused as far as um, what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I would say again, 20% of people kind of come in with those kinds of questions as well. Just because they're going through the course material and the course material tells them to do X, but then we tell you guys to do something different.
Mhm.
So that's fine, it's normal. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. It's just like the main thing I would worry about is really just getting some stuff on your feed and not overthinking it. You can literally go to Google, type it something in, have an image, screenshot that becomes your post, have a nice description, and that's good enough. It doesn't have to be too crazy. You can share some of your content if you have the ability to, share some of like the ads you've created or something, like that kind of stuff would be well, will serve you well. Aside from that, do you have questions?
Um, well, nothing now, I guess. I mean, that was like that's where I was kind of like stopping. And now it's just like onto like the create the app page.
Yeah.
Um,
Really, all
okay.
you really it's just going to be for the opt-in page. It's really just like changing up like, hey, based in this location, and then when it comes to your thank you page, you're just going to redirect them to your Instagram versus mine. That's it.
Got it. So I guess like, yeah, so my confusion was, am I not recording myself? Because I was like planning on doing that because all those videos were, telling me to.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yep, you're gonna use my ugly mug and my funnel, everything. You don't have to worry about anything.
Okay. Got it.
Questions?
No, I mean, not yet. I'm sure I'll have some by tomorrow, but not right now.
Yeah. Typically, and just so you know kind of what to expect is like over the course of like building out the funnel, you might have a few questions, like tech questions, and then Mason will help you throughout that. Once that's up and running, once your ads have been going for about a week, that's when the questions start piling in. It's more like sales types of questions. So that's what to
Okay.
cool. All right, Dan. Well, I'm gonna go to the next person, and then if you want to hang out, hang out. We'll circle back to you after we've gone through everybody. Okay.
All right.
Cool. So the next person we have is Jorge. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Awesome, cool. What's up, man?
Chilling, bro. Did you get a chance to read my response? I know I threw a lot your way.
Yeah, I did. I was let me pull it up right here. 1 second. But you answered a good amount of the question already as
Mhm.
far as like what I was referring to. The last note that you put, I was kind of confused on. 1 second. Yeah, so like with the all the different ad sets and like that kind of confused me a little bit.
So before I dive deeper into that one, I just want to make sure I'm crystal clear. What exactly is your question regarding that? Like, am I understanding you correctly in that like you have, can you see my screen by the way, Jorge?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like you basically like this is like for example the ad or the video ad or whatever. This is the creative. And so if
Mhm.
what I understood is like you have one version that maybe looks longer like this, and maybe that's for IG stories, and then maybe you had another one that's like a square, but it's the same pretty much creative, it's just like a different format. Is that what you're saying, or am I misunderstanding you?
So with the guy from Jersey, I planned on filming a commercial for his gym, and that already has a bunch of content within the commercial, right? That I could just like kind of piece up together, and that's landscape. And I was thinking about doing like a little like the same way that I formatted my ads, like
Mhm.
landscape, and you got the call to action or like the headline,
Mhm.
using that as a square, the 10 by 1080 by 1080. And then in addition to that, I also filmed vertically the ad. So like him calling directly out, like, hey, so and so, we have this many options here at so and so Jiu-Jitsu. So I was trying to figure out, would it be more beneficial to,
There are two different kinds of ads then completely, right?
yeah, so one landscape square, and then the other one's just straight vertical.
Okay,
And
got
I was trying to figure out if it'd be better just do stories in that one, and then just do other ones just feed, or how would I do that? Because I haven't done that yet.
it. Okay, I see what you're saying. Um, so I would still like I wouldn't do like one ad set that's like just stories and one ad set that's just feeds with the same
Mhm.
audience. I wouldn't try doing that because sometimes what happens is like what I've noticed, and for me, for example, is like this is my campaign. Under my campaign, I have an ad set, ad set, ad set, and each of these ad sets is like a different audience. So ad set 1, 2, 3. So this one might be like a lookalike audience. This one might be like interests. And then this one might be like an email list, for example. Okay. And I can have the same add 1, 2, 3 in here, add 1, 2, 3, add 1, 2, 3. Like this works just fine for me. Okay. Here's what I would have done in the past, whereas like I would have said add set 1 and then add set 1, add set 1, and I would have had add 1, 2, 3 in here. So what I'm saying is that in the past, I have one campaign, I have 3 ad sets, but it's the exact same audience, exact same whatever. So let's say all 3 of these are the exact same lookalike audience. What I've noticed is that if I try to do this now, it doesn't work very well. So like, for example, this one will work super well, and then these 2 will be trash, or like all 3 of them will be trash. And so, and I think part of that has to do with Facebook's algorithm and what they're trying to push. So what they're saying is like you have one audience per ad set. So it's like this is the stuff that's working these days. So what I'm trying to get at is if you try to do this, which is like ad set 1, which is audience 1, ad set 2, which is the same audience, but this one is for feeds and this one is for stories, you're going to be kind of sort of like competing with yourself. Is that making sense?
Yeah, okay. So instead of like duplicating the same ad set with the same audience.
So if I were you, I would have the campaign, the ad set, and then I would have creative 1, 2, 3, all your different ads in here.
So just throw them all in the same one.
Yeah, and then just see which one of these perform the best.
But how does that solve like the I might have missed it, but how does that solve like the story? Would the placements just be feeds and stories? Like would it mess up anything else? Like would the
Yeah, that's the problem with this. That's the problem with this. And so moving forward, my suggestion is I mean, you could even do this right now, but my suggestion is like get everything 1080 by 1080 always.
Got you.
And so one thing that you can do, and this is what I've done as well, is like, again, this is like, let's say this is landscape, and then I have my video that's vertical. So what I'll do is I'll just like duplicate the video, and this is like blurred.
Yeah.
Exposure brought down, like, you know what I'm talking about. And so now it's a 920 by 1080, and then I'll put that into a 1080 by 1080 thing.
Wouldn't that don't you think it'd be like too small? Or like would it be like messed up the format?
Oh, like visually for them to see?
Yeah. Or does that really like you don't think that really matters?
That's a good point. It could. I mean, I don't know how much text you have on there. It could. Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I'll just format it for the 1080 by 1080 then.
Or what you do is you can have it like this, where it's a 1080 by 1080, and then this is your middle part.
Yeah.
It's another way that you can just do it.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so then don't include the stories.
What that's a good question as well. Is like, how long is the post? How long is the ad?
Probably like less than 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I'm gonna take back what I said. I think I've noticed like when my ads are like 15 to 30 seconds and they're really strong, the offer is just very obvious. Then you can run a story ad with, like you can do specifically just a story placement and it does well. So you can do both. You can do either one of those. You can do what I suggested, which is the campaign with the ad set, and then just throw in all the creatives and try to make it 1080 by 1080, or just make it 1920, or yeah, just keep it the way it is. And then when it comes to your ad set, just allow all of those placements. Allow the placement of the story and allow the placement of the feed.
Okay.
So just to keep things simple, so one more time, you have one campaign, you have one ad set where you allow feeds and stories, and just throw all your creatives in here and let's just see what happens. And then
Mhm.
if you want to test, what you can do is you can maybe afterwards we do this where you have one campaign, you have an ad set for just feeds, and then you throw all of your ads in here that are like feed placements. And then maybe you do one campaign where you have an ad set, which is story, and then you do all story all story ads. And so we can
With the same creatives?
the ones that are applicable, right? So the ones that are like,
Gotcha.
yeah, the ones that are applicable. So if it feels like, oh, I created this would be optimized for story, it would work on story well because it's like a 15 to 30-second ad, then
Mhm.
throw it into this ad set. Versus if it's like a minute long, minute and a half, and it's 1080 by 1080, we'll throw into this ad set
Mhm. That makes sense.
and just test it and just see what happens.
Okay. I had a question pop up right now in my head too, as you were saying that. How many creatives is too much in one ad set?
It's a good question. So are you all I feel like, I mean, for the amount that you're probably spending, which is like what, like $20 a day?
With these guys, it's $30 a day.
Yeah, with $30 a day, bro, like 3 creatives is like enough, I think.
3? Okay.
Yeah, 3 ads is like enough. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, there is such a thing as too much. For me, it's like what is your cost per lead?
Well, right now with the downtown, there's 2 clients right now. One that I haven't done it with yet, but the one that I am getting it with, it's like $10.
So yeah, so if you're spending like $30, then ideally within like 3 days time, you should see like either they're evenly going to be getting leads or like one's going to blow the other one out or one's superior and
Hmm.
the other two are like, okay, you're going to notice a pattern. And then
That's
from
what I'm noticing right now.
okay, exactly. And then from there we can optimize and have like one ad set with like just one creative in there.
And that's the case right now, actually. So I have 4 creatives.
Mhm.
One of them is blowing them out the water. So there's like 6 leads that we gotten already.
Mhm.
It's only been the second day. And then the other 3 are not doing as well. And then the second one, there's only one more other than that that's kind of decent. But there's one in particular that's doing really well.
Okay, so here, this is something important, guys. I think this is just important for everybody. So whenever you do something like this is something that I've picked up on the algorithm, is so this is going to represent you have an ad set and then you have ads within it. Okay. And so there's either you're going to get ad spend, you're going to get a lot of ad spend, or you're not going to get a lot of ad spend on your ad, and you're going to get a lot of results, or you're not going to get a lot of results. It's going to be a combination. So what I mean by that is like you've got like one ad, 2, 3, 4 ads. Okay. This ad right here, imagine this ad is getting a lot of ad spend, but it's the cost per lead is absolutely shitty. It's terrible. If not, maybe it's not even getting leads. Let's say this ad right here is getting a lot of ad spend and it's getting great cost per lead. This is Jorge's case. This is the best case. So this ad right here is banger. Then you'll have this ad right here, the third ad, which is like low ad spend, but your cost per lead is great. This is not that good, actually. Even though your cost per lead is good, Facebook is not allocating a lot of budget towards it. So what you want to do for this particular case is you want to try to separate it and put it into its own ad spend, give its own budget to try to see if it gets more ad spend and it continues to have great results. And the fourth variation is it doesn't get a lot of ad spend and the cost per lead is shit. So I hope that makes sense, everybody. Your ideal case is if you're going to have one ad set and then you're going to have these multiple ads in there. Ideally, it's going to meet the criteria of it's getting the most amount of ad spend and it's getting the best result, which is what Jorge is getting. So Jorge, that is like my way of knowing that that's your winning ad.
Cool.
So what you could do
Yeah.
now is you could just leave things the way they are, which I probably would. I probably wouldn't break it. But then down the road, maybe during the next round, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically create, you have your main campaign. I'm going to create one ad set with just that one winning ad. And I'm going to spend, $30 a day. So it's going all towards that.
So right now, leave it as is. Like don't kill the other creatives inside that ad set.
I wouldn't. That's another lesson for you, Jorge, and everybody else is like, if some shit's working, don't fuck with it. Just leave it. Even if it's spending a little more money, the thing is, if you mess around with it, it might stop working for that main ad. That happens from time to time. So it's like ride this honeymoon phase. This is a honeymoon phase. Ride it out. Enjoy it.
Cool. Nice.
Why are you cheesing?
Because man, this is like we already got like 2 or 3 booked intro calls the second day. I'm like, yo, we going.
Let's go.
So it's good.
Good. Jorge, what else you got for us, bro?
Let's see that one, and then the ripping the straight off the other agency. That's like straightforward. You already answered that. That was just I had this idea. I'm like, yo, that copy and like the way that they structured it was pretty fire. So I thought, man, I could literally just replace everything and it fits. So that's straightforward.
Same thing. Always.
So now my niche funnel ads, those are not doing as well. And I just was trying to get a feel for when I should keep duplicating and then when I should actually go into tweak the offer, right? With the new offer that I got from the votes.
So we had your main ad set, right? So we had your main
Yeah.
ad. And then after that, then what did you do? You duplicated it once?
I duplicated it once again.
So you duplicated it, and then what happened with this duplication? Nothing happened, right? It was very expensive, right?
Yeah, it was not good.
And so we did is we killed this one, we did this one, and then did you try duplicating again or no?
So we duplicated it because it was doing well, and we went from 20 to 50. And then when we changed it, it wasn't doing well. And then we duplicated again, and same thing. It was like really high cost per lead. So we duplicated it.
So this first one, I remember you were getting like $20 bookings. And then
Yeah.
this one, did you kill this one to start? Or I thought what you did is you took this one and you just increased the budget first.
Yeah, that's what we did. That's my bad.
So you took this one, we increased the budget, that stopped working. Then we killed this one and we duplicate and create this ad set. And then this one is expensive as hell. We weren't getting anything for like 14 days. And so then you killed this one and you created another ad set. And this is the one that you've been getting bookings so far, or is that what's going on, or am I missing something?
Yeah, so far. So it's okay. I've nothing crazy. I've got maybe like 2 booked calls in the past week or so. One of them including today.
One of them including today?
Yeah, so I got one today.
Okay. So how much have we spent on this? This specific ad set.
This specific ad set, how much I've spent?
The specific one, yeah.
So far it's 159.
So 159. So basically, what is that divided by 2? 50, 70? 714.
Yeah.
About 70, $80. So
About.
Yeah, it's not terrible. So what I mean, here's the thing. Like, remember what I said earlier? It was like you were getting like $20 bookings here, but we don't know if this is too good to be true and you were just getting lucky. Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what I would recommend doing is, I mean, how was the quality of the lead today?
Today he didn't text me back yet. I did like as soon as I got it in, like I just got in probably like an hour ago, and I hit him up within that first 5 minutes. He hasn't texted me back yet. So.
Okay. And then the other one was like the weird dude.
The weird dude, yeah.
So I'm not seeing nothing. I mean, bro, like $80 is pretty solid in terms of book call. Like I see people spending like $150, $160 on a book call. This is not terrible.
Okay.
What is your budget per day?
20.
20. Okay. So it's gonna be slow then. Shit. That means we're gonna have to wait 20, 40, 60, 80. I personally think let's wait 4 more days.
Got you. Is that because you wanted to get to another 120?
I want to, yeah, because so you're saying that it costs you $80 per book call, and you're saying you spent 159, basically $160. So what I'm saying is let's wait till we spend another $80 and see if we're getting a book call. And if we're getting a book call and it's a decent quality, then I'll be like, oh shit, that's just your number. It's $80. $80 per book call. It's pretty average. He's not getting terrible leads. He's not getting the best leads, pretty average. Everything's okay. Then my next plan of action would be I'm going to try to take this $20 budget and then maybe I'm going to go to like 25. And I'm going to run that for like 3 days. And then I'm going to try to go to like 30. And then I'm going to run that for 3 days and then 35. I'm going to try to slowly increase the budget until, yeah, just like slowly try to increase the budget until you're basically at like one call every other day.
Mhm.
That's what my strategy would be.
Okay,
And so
that makes sense.
it's like I don't want to jump the gun too early. You know what I mean? I don't want to jump the gun too
Yeah.
early.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Like I was like, it's already gonna be like the third. I was gonna wait till it's like that full week cycle so I can be okay. I can make a call. But hearing you say this, that makes more sense too.
Yeah. It's sometimes a time thing, but most of the time you want to kind of look at it as like, sometimes there's like, oh, wait 3 days, wait 7 days, but really it's like you want to make your decisions based off of like cost per. That's the best way to make a decision, not necessarily 3 days, 7 days. That's arbitrary. Versus like, okay, we know his average is about $80. That's what we've seen over. Let's give it another $80. Let's see what happens.
Okay, that makes sense. And then right now it's like a little bit too early to kind of figure out exactly how much it should be costing.
Yeah, it's too early to know. Like we need more data because, like again, you could have gotten lucky at the very beginning. Like I said, you could have gotten lucky.
Mhm.
Maybe that wasn't average. Maybe that's not normal. And it's another thing, just off tangent, but like I think it's interesting to know is like there's Aman, there's Aaron, there's Drew and Marquita. All of them are running ads to medical spa business owners, and it's the exact same funnel, exact same ads. And Drew and Marquita are spending like $150 for a book call versus Aman is spending like $30.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing, bro. Exact same offer, copy, everything, except Aman's a little bit tan versus those guys.
Hmm.
And so I just thought that's an interesting thing to say is like, you can have the exact same funnel, exact same target, exact same everything, but vastly different costs. So in my head, it's like it's too early to say, but it's very possible that like $80 is average. And so I would
Okay.
spend and just be patient before we make any kind of, because like, duplicating the ad set, then you have to wait again. And then there's the next thing of like changing the headline. And now you're just changing up so many variables without giving enough time to really know what's going on for sure, for sure.
And then to speed this up, just increase the ad spend a little bit.
Yeah. So in order to speed it up, you would increase the ad spend. But the thing is like we are at a very sensitive place where if we increase the ad spend, maybe I'm guessing that you'll have a book call within $80. I'm guessing based off of the data so far. But even I don't know you know what I mean? And so if you tweak up the data, if you tweak up the ad spend, well then it might just fucking break and then cost per book call might be like $160.
Oh, okay.
Every single time you make a small little change, it stirs the pot, if you will.
Uh-huh. So just wait till this next $80 and then make a call from there.
And more specifically, like keep me up to date. And like once we hit another $80-$90 of ad spend, bro, just let me know what's up.
All right, we'll do.
Yeah. But I think my gut is telling me is this your Excel or is this your client's Excel? This one?
That's mine.
So this one is yours?
Yeah.
God damn, bro. Is this up to date?
I didn't update it today.
Okay. Please update it. It looks what I'm seeing here is your cost per click is $24. That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
Okay.
right.
Okay. As long as if you're within like $6, like that's fine. So
what would that mean if it went up?
So that's just like something's broken.
Mm-hmm.
Like your unique click-through rate should be and I haven't added this number in here, but your unique click-through rate, which you'll see in your ads manager, should be 1 to 3%.
Mhm.
So 1 to 3% of people are clicking on your ad. So if a cost per click is like 24 bucks, that means that you're not getting about 1%. You're maybe getting like 10% of people click on your ad. So some shit's really broken there. That's what that would mean.
There should be 1 to 3%.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can't get 1%, but like I would say 70, 0.7 to 1%, it could be that.
Okay.
And so what I mean by that is if I look at see this right here, unique click-through rate.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm at like 1.38, 0.89. Even here, like look, I'm not at 1%, but like I know what the numbers actually look like, and this is working just fine for me.
Mhm.
So like I like seeing numbers like this.
What's your ideal there? Just while you're on the CTR, like what are your ideal numbers you're looking for?
I'm looking for actually, Jorge, I'm sorry, I've been like saying the wrong thing to you. So for a B2B offer, I'm looking for about a 1% unique click-through rate. For a B2C offer, I'm looking for like a 3%.
Mhm.
So when I look at this stuff, like I know I'm within range. If my number here, Jorge and Tony, if my number here was like a 0.1, I'd be like, oh shit, something's out of whack. But it's like it's around 1. I'm okay with that. So if this is around 1, and if my CPM is within healthy range, I'm okay. Like for me, in my experience, like how long I've been running ads, I'm going to be around 30 bucks. That's normal for me. I'm going to be around 30 bucks, maybe a little bit higher. If I'm around 30 bucks, and if my unique click-through rate is about 1% to 3%, and if my conversion on my site for me and my funnel for my numbers to work, I need to be at like a 5% conversion rate. In terms of 5% of people that are going to land in my funnel are going to purchase something. Those are just my numbers. So I need to have a $30, $40 CPM, about 1% unique click-through rate. Anything better than that is great. And then a 4 to 7% in terms of people buying on the site. So everybody's funnels are different. Those are my unit economics. Those are what allows me to hit a 10x return on ad spend, which is what I'm looking for. So Jorge, when I look at your stuff, bro, what this I mean, we're gonna take a slow just to be safe. I like to, and Mason will tell you this. I tell this with Mason. I always slow things down, and I always want to like make sure before we make a decision. So for you, for example, when I look at this, your opt-in conversion rate, bro, is relatively low. Like if I look at, for example, Amon's conversion rate, it's 21%.
Mm.
So 1 out of 5 people that end up on his page are going to book a call. And that's
Yeah.
how, versus you, it's 5%. And so what that tells me is a bunch of people are like, they're curious when they see your ad and they go to the opt-in page. And then when it's time to put name, email, phone, they're like, oh, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so my theory is that, again, let's slow things down, wait till we get a book call. Then maybe from there, we'll duplicate, give it a chance. And then if for some reason that doesn't work, or, we're not getting traction or whatever, and we're going to try to slowly increase budget. If for some reason things don't work out that well, the next plan of action is going to be to use those headlines that you came up with and test that.
Mhm. Would there be a point in plan of action to to turn on like the first one that was doing well,
You can try that as well.
like after this next one, or just duplicating? Like, is there like one that's better or worse?
You're in the wild, wild west. Something like sometimes you turn on an old thing and it just works.
Mm.
Like I've had that in the past where like something was working for
So
a
just
long
try
time.
it.
Let's try it. I've had something that was worked for a long time. I shut it off because it stopped working. I come back to it like 3 months later. I turn it back on, and like lo and behold, it starts working again. Happens.
Okay. Cool. I just got another quick question. This got a little bit more technical.
Mhm.
Maybe if I don't know if Mason's on here, but
Yeah,
on
he's
my
on.
Go High Level calendar, I input the right amount of for my clients. I put the right time. I put the correct time and the date, but for some reason, like it doesn't execute it correctly.
Like, what do you mean? Like, you put the right time and the date, and then
Yeah.
what didn't execute?
So
What do you
So for example, I put like, okay, there's book your class at 5:30 on Wednesday, but on Wednesday it shows like 8 a.m. through like 11 p.m. every single slot.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is the calendar availability is different.
Yeah, the availability is just completely like out of whack, even though I correctly input it when I was making it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can help you with that, or I can show you how to do it properly. Because there's two settings that you have to basically filter and adjust. You probably just did one of the two of them. So the calendar is probably just confused. But I can show you how to do it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, either like I'll get off the chat later on, but whenever you get a chance, that's it.
Slap a message in the Slack and then just be like, yo, Mason, calendar. So I remember.
All right, we'll do.
Jorge,
Cool. Thanks.
Jorge, you got anything for us?
No, that's it. Just those questions.
Cool. Yeah, you're doing great, man. You're doing fine. We had a red light. We got rid of the red light, and so just relax.
Yeah, I got a sales call on Wednesday, so
Good. Wednesday, from where? From who?
this one was from this guy of the March 11th. I got him in, and then we had the discovery call not too long ago, and so now we
Okay.
have the sales call Wednesday.
So this is from ads?
Yeah,
It was like from a previous ad set then?
yeah. I think it might have been from like the one before this.
Okay. Good. Good.
If not, like as soon as I turned this one on, like it happened.
Okay. Do you feel good about him?
Yeah, no, he's we've been going back and forth throughout the whole week, and I feel good.
Solid. Good stuff, bro. Cool, bro. My one thing I mentioned here that I do think is important is kind of like, hopefully you kind of see like we're kind of sort of flying in the dark where like I don't know what the average cost per book call should be. You know what I mean? Hopefully you kind of see. And so like
Yeah.
I don't know what your relationship is with Jay to be able to ask him, but like I kind of put in here somewhere, here's why I would ask him. So I don't know.
Yeah. I had a couple other questions for him too, like other things that I remember that we accumulated over the past, like since the last time I talked to him, and I was thinking about just doing like a quick half hour with him, just get all these questions answered, quick action.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know if you're going to do that. And if you are going to do that, let's make sure we strategically like figure those out. Like I'm going to be doing some of that with Aman right now. Aman had some,
Okay.
Aman are in the process of like reaching out to somebody. So we're strategically like making sure we're going to be efficient with that conversation. So if you decide to do it, no, so I can kind of review your questions and be like, yo, here's what else I would consider asking him as well.
Cool. I'll put together a sheet of questions and then we go back and forth.
Sounds good, bro.
All right, cool. I'm gonna get out of here then, guys. I'll be on and off, but thank you.
Okay. So Adam, Tony, are you guys in a rush? Okay.
Yeah, we can go last.
Okay. Okay. Aman, what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on?
Are you feeling like a zombie right now?
Me? Why?
Are you fasting?
I am fasting, yeah. I've been feeling good during fasting. It's been like, and it forced me to get up at like 5. So I'm like working as soon as I'm done eating, and I feel like I just knock so much more out. It's kind of great.
Bro, I'm
But
right there with you, man.
are you fasting too? Good stuff. Yeah, it's kind of game changing, but I did take like a little 30-minute nap before this, so pretty good. Uh, as far as the first few questions I had, I feel like you answered those pretty straightforward. Even the onboarding, like I don't think, and maybe it was just because like the last 2 onboardings went really well. But the one who I just had it with, like I think because it was kind of like I wasn't understanding the scope of our relationship and what it was going to and what she was expecting, like I don't think like it felt like a lot of things on the onboarding didn't feel as, like pertaining to her, but did. I don't know. But so I think that was just more on me for.
Is this the lady that's like doing 4 million a year or something? Is that one or is it someone else? Okay. So it's the one that's like super busy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you feel so you said you feel like she didn't understand the scope of the relationship, or you didn't understand the scope of the relationship, or both? What were you saying about that?
Yeah, like more me almost, where like I was, pushing her for the way we do this, but because she has so much set up and she has a lot of systems down, and like I'll be working like on her go high level, and like it just kind of the scope of it was a slightly different. So it just kind of, maybe I just didn't have as much either conviction, or I just didn't really take the time to emphasize the onboarding. I think the last two went a little bit better, and yeah, went a little bit smoother. So even for like the last one I did with the one I had to that wanted the referrals and stuff, when I was kind of laying out those next steps, I don't feel like I really like emphasized the importance of like they were like we're determining who would be on the onboarding and stuff, but I did wish, like kind of how you framed it, I did wish I did like that. So I want to just try to do that at least and see how much of a difference that makes.
Have you, I know I've sent you some of my calls. Have you ever like witnessed one of my calls in that section where I do like share the onboarding page and I say, hey, first we're gonna do this and then this and then this and then this. Have you seen me do that in action or no?
I don't think so.
If you want to message me in our Slack, because I'll forget, if you message me, then first thing I'll do is I'll send you one and I'll timestamp it so you can actually specifically see it. I
Okay.
think I'll show you like in action, like how in depth and how hard I drill it. And that'll give you some.
Okay, yeah, I think that's all I need. I really don't think it's anything more than I just didn't go hard at drilling it, to be honest.
Okay. So specifically, what did you, so I made a suggestion here. What all like did you specifically want to go over?
Honestly, just the questions that I should be asking. I did update that doc more. And yeah, I added a bunch of stuff on the bottom of it. Um, but
Do you have the
yeah, so
doc? Do I have the doc? Did you
yeah,
send?
it should be under the comments, in the general communication here. So scroll down on that. Yeah, and then in the replies, and then scroll up. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, that.
thank you.
Yeah, so the first section was kind of that first initial conversation we had. So those were the questions I um was gonna go more into, just kind of more on like fully on service delivery for the clients ads, like knowing what like ads to run, what services, what kind of offers, like what those playbooks look like, and then as well as like the relationship with the client, like walk me through A through Z on that. And then on the bottom is kind of more of like the brain dump based off like kind of things that I've been experiencing. So like, are you doing TikTok as well? Because I know that's like a whole cosmetic side. How do you stay on top of like med spa service trends? So like, talking with my new client, she was just saying like that how much she does that for her own business, for new ads. I've had like Imiglows asking like, oh, like, based on your expertise, like what's gonna be the best for right now. So yeah, just kind of like getting a pulse on like what's kind of best for the seasons, if that's even something. Um, and then yeah, if ad costs start to rise, want to make sure that I'm, putting out service offer that's going to be the best. And then next question is, are you qualifying spas by what services they're running, or do you take on clients where you figure out ads for a service you've never launched before? So just what I mean by that is like, do they have like a set service, like, hey, they need to be hitting these check boxes, or, it's like, oh, this is like IV drip therapy, whatever it is, and we haven't done that, but we can figure it out kind of thing. So I assume it's probably like as long as they see on like Facebook ads or something. Um, let's see. Next one is, oh, another one is like I just feel like I kind of get behind on like all the different like ads I'm running for different clients. So I just kind of want like a good routine or SOP for like just stay on top of it and knowing like what to do. I kind of have that, but any tips there in terms of like what like step by step they do. Um, leads will respond to AI, but then my clients will call them from a different phone line, and then those leads don't answer. So, how do his clients reach out to leads? Is it directly through Go High Level, or do they kind of also do that same thing where they'll just call from their straight, like from their own number, and then is there like a, any kind of tips there. Again, that's just more of just things I'm experiencing. But I don't think it's like a high priority question. How do you get your clients to track the leads that come in and the patients and how much they spend? So yeah, just being able to get those numbers efficiently as possible. Um, what are the most important expectations you set with the clients in the beginning for most success? How do you stay on top of meta regulations? So they're always like, you know, having new regulations and stuff. So just being on top of it. Launching for an SMS. Yeah, we messaged around 80 so far. I've kind of having a slower drip campaign because I wanted to keep a close eye on it throughout the days. So I think one had actually like called. There was a few that responded. So I just kind of want to know what more of those numbers should look like. And then how do they determine what the SMS will be? Are they think of something every month? Those sort of things. Um, and then problem, I give my clients resources like scripts and stuff, but they tend not to follow it. Are are you getting on calls with like the staff members and to train them, or is it all like yeah, those sort of things?
Okay. Um, dude, you have a ton of questions. These are all very solid questions. I feel like this is the main thing I just want to know is just like, okay, somebody signs up with you. What ads funnel do you set up? Do you have like 5-year ads you're setting up? Like, or are you allowing them to build stuff out? Like, that's the main thing. And if I just understand that, if we just understand that, then a lot of these things kind of will become simpler to understand, or if maybe we'll even have answers as a byproduct of figuring this out.
Yeah,
That's kind of where my head's at. I mean, a lot of, yeah, I
yeah.
there's not much I can even think of that you have probably not thought of. These are all very solid questions.
Should I
Um,
keep these on this page, or do you think that if he opens it and then he sees all these questions, it can be like overwhelming? I mean, I know I can have it under optional, but um, you know. Uh, like should I just kind of keep it that top part and then maybe have those on the side for myself, just so when he opens it initially, then he can just kind of quickly understand what I'm looking for.
rephrase that, please.
So I'm gonna like send him the questions, through Instagram and ask him if we can get on the call from there, if he can help with these things. Should I like, because right now if he opens up the doc and he sees like all these questions and maybe like, okay, that's like I don't feel like going through all this or whatever it is. Should I keep it just that top part where it's like we're going through those, yeah, like that aspect, and then maybe like have the other questions on the side just in case it comes up during conversation?
Hmm. Okay. Um, so I, I'm not organizing information mentally right now because it's just a brain dump, but like, is there a way to divide these questions into like for example, like setting appointments, closing appointments, service delivery? You know how like you can kind of divide like the agency into that? Of course, we're not talking about setting appointments, closing appointments, we're really talking about everything service delivery, but can we take service delivery and then divide that into like 4 categories? The reason I'm suggesting that is basically you would then have like one category and you have questions underneath it, and then you have one category and then question underneath it. And then maybe at the top of the page, you have a key. And you have a key which is color coded of like important versus like less important. Most important, somewhat important, least concern, or highest concern, least concern. And so he has a key where he sees like what's the most to the least important, and you've kind of sort of organized it already for him. And I think that'll help him be like, oh, he's done a lot of the footwork for me. He's like organizing information, all that stuff. Like, I think he'll feel good about that.
Okay.
First of all. And then second, like, I think it's good to just have that because the last thing you want to do is, I don't think you want to show up with just this. And then you try to go over all this other stuff and it pisses him off because you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I think having everything and having it organized in a way where he's like, oh, this is easy to get through will be better for you, better for him.
Okay, yeah, I agree. So maybe like the ad side for the clients and then the getting the book side of the clients and then like the back end stuff like the sales and building out packages and those sort of things.
Exactly. So like one way is like, you know, ads and offers, offers for or ads. And then one is like one section could be like onboarding, or you could have like client relations and there's like an
That's it.
on thing, yeah, like client relations, and then advertising, and then there's all your ads. Or instead of ads, I would say maybe something else, which is I don't know what that word would be, but like something that encompasses ads and SMS. And then you would have your ad question and your SMS questions, because that's like a great way to like I feel like that's very different than client relations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I message him back, I could just say something like, I organized my thoughts on the stock for you. And then just like, please let me know your best available times.
Like, hey Jordan, typed up my question and organized them for you to the best of my abilities to just be respectful and efficient, respectful of your time and as efficient as possible. Please have a look and let me know if this is something you can help me out with. And if so, please let me know a good day and time that works for you.
Cool. That's good.
So I guess if you want to organize this and then send it over my way, I can have one last look and just kind of give you some feedback.
Cool. That works. I'll start working on that now, just so I can get back to him as soon as possible.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, Jordan's a good dude, bro. Like you're in really good hands. So I'm so excited. He was the first person he's the first one I thought about and I told you about. So I'm so glad that you got in with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I looked up his YouTube page. I've seen one of his ads before, um yeah, just his YouTube videos like very I like want to actually have a chance to like go through it because it seemed like pretty in depth.
And I found him in one of these videos. Did I share this with you or I haven't?
I don't think you shared me that name, but I don't know if you shared.
This video right here.
I don't
That's
know.
how I found out about him.
I think you have shared that.
Okay, cool. And so that's how I knew. I saw that I was like, oh, do you know what he's talking about? Checked out some of his Instagram stuff. So you're in good hands, man.
Got it. Yeah, and then I was watching the he sent me this one guy who like organized his life in like systems.
Wow.
I was listening to that video today and like I feel like because I kind of stopped journaling completely and then I was like I really want to do that again because I feel like I have all these thoughts and things so it's really cool how he does it so I kind of want to start implementing something like that.
It's when you initially look at it, you kind of think he's like overboard and insane. But the truth is, like as time progresses, like everybody moves towards that. Like you have to account for those kinds of things. You have to document those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're enjoying it. And baby steps, man. Just do baby steps.
Yeah, for
Take,
sure.
take what you can from what he's doing and implement what you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna just start with like the daily journaling and then like the weekly thing, and then just kind of keep it simple, or else I'm gonna like, But I do think the ChatGPT part was so cool.
I don't do that kind of stuff at all.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that is sick.
It is pretty.
So
But I would say for me personally, I just daily journal. Like literally last night, I had like 3 epiphanies, and I wrote them down. And I know this, next week I'm gonna like review them, and I'm gonna see if I feel the same way. So,
yeah, I've been also like meditating again, and thoughts just like come to my head where I'm like, whoa, like where did that come from? And yeah, I'm gonna keep a journal of those thoughts too. Like one of them was like when I'm going to like Switzerland, next month, I was thinking like, should I just extend my clients like month just so I can like enjoy that time and like they can get that, it's kind of like the payoff for it or something like that. So that's just like one thought I had where I can kind of like enjoy a little bit more without having to like be too on top of things.
mhm. Mm. So are you asking that question, or is that like a journal thought? Are you saying like, hey, this is
Both. Yeah, kind of both. I don't
um
know.
if you to I can give you an answer. Like I would definitely recommend not veering off for sure with any of your clients. You can't give them an inch. If you give somebody an inch, they're going to take full advantage of you ever.
Okay.
Yeah, you can surprise somebody, and there are in my experience, I can kind of go over that with you. If you remind me, if you message me in Slack, I'll give you like a specific example of what I did and how I did it. But like once in a while, you can surprise your clients, and that'll work. But you never just like, yeah, like that kind of stuff. They'll sooner or later they'll take advantage of you for sure.
Sounds good.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I would have brought it up before. I went for sure, but I just remembered it now. But yeah, that's it for me.
What else you got, bro? Anything else?
No, I think that's it right now.
Okay, cool, man. Well, we'll circle back if you have more questions.
Sounds good.
Okay. Mr. Riviera,
Hey, Koshik.
what's
What's
going
up?
on? How you doing?
Doing well.
Good.
Funny you mentioned Jordan. I just started following him too,
You
even
do?
though I'm not in the med spa, but I like his. I think I just saw his ads like, "Hey, we're with Natura Med Spa here," and and then I just somehow getting tracked for med spas. But yeah, cool. It's small world for sure. But yeah, I mean, Koshik, yeah, I mean, kind of everything you kind of laid out the foundation. I feel like all my questions are gonna hit like post launch for sure, but or maybe kind of towards the tail end once I start like doing the technical stuff with like the stuff. But I just uploaded two videos. One is the thank you page or confirmation video, and then one of the ads that I feel like is the winner. I have another one that kind of I feel like is the winner too, but I just made a simple ad that way you can kind of see like is this worth fleshing out, adding some more edits and making it look a little more perked up, right? So but and then it just kind of my next question is just like, show rates and stuff. Just because we used to have better show rates with Dr. Lisa, but for some reason just have kind of you know, I think we talked about it last time was just we've got more leads than ever, but the show rates kind of percentage went down. So, I read through your answer and yeah, I think honestly that's pretty smart. I think in the scripts, I think we asked for I think it's better to, yeah, get the credit card information first and then we can kind of, mention, the cancellation fee and see if they just go, oh, okay, or if they like feel like or they go wait what, so maybe that'll be a telltale sign if they were going to even show or not, because we're trying to really weed out these people that just seem to be all pumped excited on the phone but then they just never show.
Yeah. Um, so regarding the show up rate, um, my question to you is like, I mean, you probably have you kept track of data to know whether or not objectively people are not coming through, and if so, if she's like slacking or she's doing the same thing and just the numbers are not as well. And the reason I'm asking is, in my experience, I'm not saying this is like permission for
Mhm.
anything. But like what I'm saying is like in my experience, what happens is when you have a funnel that you run for a long time with an offer, a service, eventually the quality of traffic just gets worse and worse and worse. Or even if you launch an ad set, the quality within that ad set drops over time and you have to launch a new ad set. So that's kind of what I'm getting at is like, do you think it's the quality of people that are coming through and it's like you're kind of sort of saturated for that Invisalign offer? Or do you think she's maybe dropping the ball or something else is happening there?
You know what? It's one of those things where, she's trying kind of bad at communication. I think it could be a combination, right? So, maybe it is something like the lead quality is dropping off. We seem to be still getting leads, but I don't really, I guess that would lead to a new question is like, how do I get to a place where, or how's a nice ethical way of asking if I could like listen in on calls? Because I told her to use the Go High Level number and stuff, so that way it kind of like, but then they just use their in-office phone and I can't get track record of that. So how do I deep dive further to be like, hey, like for quality assurance, I'd love for you to just drop in a call or two so that way we can have review and I can kind of get back to you with some tips I believe will assist you. But secretly, I'm also doing that, but I'm also secretly seeing, hey, are they even following the script? Hey, are they even doing XYZ I told them? Are they, how do they sound on the phone? Like, there's so many variables I feel like could F up these calls that, like, I'm not going to mention that to her. Like, that's why I want to be on the call. Maybe I just say I want to give her some tips, but like, low key, I would be like, really kind of like, how are these calls really going? So that way I can fully vet, like, hey, are they, like what's the variable, what's the thing that could be causing the issue. Maybe they sound confident on the phone, maybe they follow the script to the T, maybe that puts into question like, okay, maybe there's something that has to be refined on my end and me go in there and tweak part of the script or maybe come in with a different strategy. But I feel like because I don't know how they are handling these calls, I can't really come up with the I can't diagnose it fully. So I guess my next thing would probably be in some way I could get some calls recorded, maybe have her, maybe be put my foot down and say, get on that go high level number and start using that. It's also the number those guys see on the last page on the thank you page. So I feel like there'd be some like they're not being called from some random number too. So um maybe I'll I guess yeah, I just have to figure out how could I go about that efficiently because one, she's already kind of bad at communication, so it's like I feel like if there isn't some type of like red alert email, she's not going to respond to it. Like I have to have some incentive for her to like want to reply, and it's got to be like some big thing it seems like on my emails to make her reply these days. It can't just be like, hey, let's do an update, a weekly call update, schedule in your time slot. She won't respond to that. Hey, there's something in the back end that I need to find out, and it's causing these numbers to skyrocket possibly. Can we get on a call? Then she'll get on a call. I'm really figuring this out as I go, but that seems to tend to so I'm trying to think in my brain, what's the next red alert I can send so I can get a damn call from get these recorded calls.
So I like whenever this kind of stuff happens, Daniel, and I say this, I sound like I'm broken at everybody, but like it's like it's sometimes when you look at these kind of things, like prevention is better than cure. And so it's like really about like learning from this and applying to the next person. Like that's the highest leverage activity. Like so many people
Oh
are
yeah.
saving this client, saving this thing. And when people are too far gone, they're just too far gone, bro. What I'm hearing from
For
you
sure.
is it's not so that she's like so far gone, but it's just like it's not gonna be, you're not, you've lost. It's kind of like a man and a woman in a relationship. And so as a man, you have to hold the frame, you have to hold the ground. If you let a woman step all over you, she does it once and you take her back, she lost the respect forever. You know what I mean? That's what's happened here, unfortunately.
For sure. I mean, she was my first one, so it's like when I onboarded her, it wasn't the proper way I would now. So I think those things are kind of boiling to the surface and I'm just kind of managing with what, I have at the moment. But so
30,
it's just one of those things.
30,
Oh,
30. That's the magic number. And so when I say that's the magic number, it takes 30 clients for you to be smooth with it. Smooth in terms of knowing how to, I'm serious. It was for me, everybody I have a conversation with, the people that are leaps and bounds, everybody for us, it's like the average number to get ramped up is 30. The average number in terms of sales is 50 to 60 sales calls. The average number in terms of clients is 30. Once you've had your 30th client, you feel pretty good about service delivery. When I say service, I'm talking about your onboarding. I'm talking about your sales. I'm talking about like upsells and downsells. That whole thing. You've just seen so many variations of something that you know how to handle it. You know how to spot from a mile away. Okay, somebody is not going to be successful. I need to fire someone. You can just spot these things. So essentially what I'm saying is like, this is me. And I know you already give yourself permission to be like, okay, that's okay. I'm learning. But this is just hopefully just me sharing that with you. Like, okay, like that's a number. Okay, wow, I'm at my first. I have so much further to go. And so it just gives
yeah.
you clarity. So I just want to share that because that's what's ultimately going to help you. In this particular case, it's like it's literally onboarding. It's drilling the hell out of that, bro. It's for some people, I tell them you do the sales calls, you handle the leads, you do everything, and then you tell them, hey, look, we're going to do this for the first 2 weeks. After that, we're going to hand it over to you, and then after that, you're responsible for that, and you have to keep showing up to these calls to make sure that we're good. And after that, then I'll leave you alone. You have to be really firm when you like at the very beginning stages, and so you can't go back in time and do that. Now, in your particular case, you already know the answer. You already said, which is you have to basically do an emergency thing and then get her on. And you have to say it in a way that's like, again, you're gonna know her best, but like, I mean, is your relationship like is what is going on with her because she's not getting the highest ROI right now? Is that what's going on? Because if she was getting a tremendously high ROI, then I would say that if you threaten, if you say like, hey, dude, I'm peacing out, then she'd be like, okay, fuck, dude, let me listen to this Daniel guy.
I mean, like when she was on pause, she kind of like, obviously she's on pause because of maternity leave, but she wouldn't really get back to me on like, when I would ask her like, hey, when's the relaunch date? Da da da. But the day that she got back into the office, she's texting, emailing. She felt what a day was like without me, and I think that's when she was like in that like, oh shit, you know? because like she's like talking about like, oh, like I want to get this, I want to do this, I want to like a bunch of plans and just brain dumping, right? But I'm like, you gave like this communication is like what I've wanted for a while, like, but it's like it took for her to be on pause, then she's back in the office, maybe she had a day or two, I think, without me, and then like she just bombarded me emails and texts, like showing that she really wants to like connect again and like really
Was-
want to relaunch. So I thought I saw that as like like um
When was this?
like March 11th
March
she
11th.
came back into the office, and then March 12th she was like really going hard and messaging me all urgent and stuff, and I
Have you
let a couple hours pass because I'm like, I've been waiting for messaging. I ain't gonna just right in a minute text you back,
have you
but
hopped on since then or no? What's
a
transpired since,
call.
like what has transpired since she reached out and did all that stuff? What has transpired since then? Because it's been about a week.
Yeah, so we relaunched, and I told her, like, because she basically, she talked to her account, she talked to everything, she wants to work with me, but she, doesn't have the funds and whatever. And she even had a debate, even just throwing in ad spend. But, I told her, and because she kind of just gives me riffraff, I just said, hey, I'd extend this like, basically no commitment, next 30 days, no charge, just so that we can go back into experimental mode because you weren't getting these results, and that way we can really try some different things, right? Some script changes and some things like that. So she took a day or two to think about it still, even with just spending just ad spend like 600. I told her she would have to cover like go high level software charges and like texting stuff. So she's doing that at least. And then we relaunched, and yeah, I just relaunched all the winning ads again. And then I think they weren't really performing for the first 2 days. And then just over the weekend, we secured 2 leads, and then today one. So it seems to be it's too early to say since we launched probably only like 3 days ago, 4 days ago, or maybe like 5 days, because the first two weren't that good, and then the last three we got 3 leads. So seems like that still works. So she's yeah, she's I don't know, she randomly liked my post today, so I don't know, like an old ass post. So I think it's good energy, but yeah, I now it's in my mind it's like I do look at her like a learning lesson, but that I'm still continuing learning from. I want to like push this relationship to, maybe I didn't onboard her properly and there's some gaps there, but I want to be like, hey, how can I experiment with her so I can use her as like an experimental, like so I can use kind of copy and paste that to new clients, right? Like, hey, we changed the scripting and it did XYZ and we got the
Yeah.
data off that. And or hey, she's communicating better. I'm hearing her calls, I'm seeing where they struggle, and then I come in there and I kind of fix the gaps and I can use that on the next client. So that's how I kind of framed it in my mind, since I'm not really charging her. It's like, just how much can I sap the value out of this,
Yeah.
while I still have her.
So I guess like this question kind of comes to me from an angle of like, like, hey, Kushik, how do I increase the conversion rate? I'm sorry, the
Mm,
rate. It's almost like you're kind of saying like, hey, I've got her right now. I might not have her for, another 30 or 60 days. So like, how do I just like use her to like learn from this experience? Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So two things. One, again, and this part right here, I always say this is like, there's client acquisition, and then there's like service delivery. And so it's what am I trying to say here? Okay, retention. Sorry, guys. Retention equals results plus relationships. Okay, there's too many R's in here. Retention equals results plus relationships. And so this part here is, it's going to take you some skill and experience and like all that to get better at this. So in your particular case, like you can't go back on it right now, but like what you should have done, this is what you learn from, is
Mm,
people are at that stage, and this is for everybody. When people are at that stage where they're like super needy, super needy, super needy, and they're asking you for something, that's when you demand shit.
for
That's when you
sure.
So that's when you say, okay, great, I'm happy to hop on with you again. Da, da, da. We would need to do a proper onboarding, and then that's your time to ask. In this particular case, because she is where she is with you, you kind of have to eat it, bro, for like 30 days.
Mm,
You have to kind of let her experience this thing for like 30 days. And then at the end of it, again, fingers crossed that everything works well. And then you can be like, okay, I'm glad that it worked really well. Moving forward for the next 30 days, here's what I'd like to do different. We do need to have a proper onboarding to redo this. That's when it would make sense. So I hope that like makes sense like to you. Like you can try to get her to hop on, but and I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I'm just saying it would be a lot more effective logically at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And she's not the worst to get a hold of. Like I could definitely like get a like just hey, let's do an update call. We just, relaunched. I want to just kind of get an idea of what's going on since we just
or
launched.
or
Then
here,
she'd probably jump on. So
or here's how you could and again I need to maybe sleep on this, but another way you can kind of do it is like have like a red light urgent kind of thing to get her, like a clickbait thing, right?
mhm.
And then when you hop on that call with her, you frame it from a place of like, hey, look, Dr. Jane Doe, we had our initial relationship and then we had this happen, that happened, and now you're back. And, I've noticed from the cost per lead, like everything is fine for now, but it might not be fine. And I also know, and this is super important, and I know that if it doesn't go super smooth with the cash flow and everything, you and I are not going to have a working relationship here and after 30 days. And once it's gone, I'm afraid it's not going to come back. I've been doing this long enough to know that, if we don't make it past this 30 days, that's pretty much going to be the end of this relationship. So I wanted to have this conversation with you to give us both a fighting chance to ensure that happens. So what I like to do with you is I like to just do a proper training and call and onboarding. So you basically, it's kind of like a two-call close. So you do some urgent shit to get her on, and then you say all
Yeah.
this stuff to her, and then get her in the right frame of mind. Like, okay, something emergency. I need to like actually give Daniel, a good solid hour. And then on that hour, you do a proper onboarding, like a proper onboarding, and you tell her, hey, look, I need you to record your calls, and here's why, and da 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 da. Moving forward, this is what has to be done. Does that make sense, Daniel? Like maybe you
Yeah,
have to.
no, no, it totally does. Yep.
That's a way that you can psychologically get her primed.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I wasn't even thinking to do it in that way. So, yeah, this like clears up a lot of my questions for sure. And I think I have a plan moving forward at least instead of just saying, "Hey, let's just jump on a call to update." And it just seems kind of like ambiguous. So I think this will give it some more structure for sure.
so. Clickbait, scare her to get her on. When you get her on, make it seem very urgent. Like, hey, if we don't do this thing, both of us are going to end up, partying as friends, and I don't want to do that. So please, you just bear with me. Give me an hour of your time this week, and I want to do, I'm going to ensure that we set each other up for success.
Hmm.
And think really clearly. And if you want to come in with your onboarding stuff, and I don't know if I sent you ever any of my onboarding videos. But if you want, I can send you some onboarding videos and some stuff if you want to reference that. And if you want to run your onboarding by me or,
Uh-huh.
some papers, we can help you with that as well, just to prepare.
Okay. Are you the onboarding that you and I did, the Loom videos you sent, or are you regarding like training on how to do onboarding for like
Yeah,
my
like,
agencies?
yeah, like what I did with you is pretty much what you want to do with her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, no, I have that.
Um, cool. Does this help a little bit, man?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I know kind of those videos I can go back to when I'm leading up to the date. So I'll be able to kind of see the structure and how to do it too, and add in and implement the stuff I want as an expectation instead and swap that in.
And then if you want to, dude, if you want to like send over like a quick Loom video, like 5 minutes long, be like, hey, Kushik, here's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm gonna go over this, and here
Hmm.
anything I'm missing. I can kind of give you some feedback as well.
Cool, cool. Just noting it. Um, Sweet. No, that pretty much answers it there.
Does that help, dude?
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to chop it up about, man?
No, that's it for now. Just gonna be pretty much just building out the Go high level stuff. And then plug in my videos and kind of do the Facebook Manager stuff. So this week is mostly technical. So if there are any questions, I probably hit up Mason.
Um, cool. Um, all right. So that's that, man. We'll circle back if you have more questions, dude.
For sure. Actually, I might have to peace out right now, but I'll definitely watch the Loom video you guys post after this.
Cool.
Thank you. I'll see you guys.
See you, Dan.
Okay. I think next we have Mr. Hill.
Hello there.
What's going on?
Not too much. Just a nice Monday evening.
Yeah, nice Monday evening. Um, I I answered a bunch of your questions, man. Did you get a chance to read through them, Ethan?
I skimmed through them briefly, but I did not like fully analyze.
Sure. What did you get through? If not, we can go through these one by one.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to go through them with you.
Sure. So the first thing you brought up was just like I made some notes for you as well. Pick up any directions in terms of multiple aim. What the hell was I even thinking when I typed this up? Um, yeah. So I am going to I saw that you came in here and you typed up like one script. I need to do a better job on this Trello. I need to provide better directions because I find myself saying the same thing to everybody, which is just like having more ad angles. So like for
Okay.
example, like if I look at and this isn't on you, this is on me, bro, 100%. I just need to do a better job of this. So I'm gonna come in here and tweak this, but like if I look at like these ads, like these are all of like Tony and Adam's ads. So there's like multiple of them.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You want to give yourself the best fighting chance by throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall. And on top of that, like each of these ads is very different. So for example, I was sharing with Adam and Tony, like I have an ad that talks about like the pandemic, like, hey, the world's crashing and burning, and you have to take action now, and here's what you can do. Versus, hey, inflation is through the roof, everything's getting expensive, and chances are people are not willing to pay you money because of XYZ. Here's what you can do. Here's a compilation of just a bunch of testimonial videos. So see how all three of those are very different,
Okay.
and they're gonna basically appeal to different people. Some people are like, I just want to see a bunch of testimonials and proof. They don't really care about all this stuff. Like they're like, oh, I've heard this a million times. They're gonna be like, it's gonna be flying on deaf ears hearing pandemic stuff, for example. Versus other people are like, yeah, inflation's like killing me. I want to hear what this guy has to say. So it's having three very different angles.
Okay.
So that's one thing to work on. Again, I'll reach out to you about this. I'm going to give you a specific video where I go more in detail, and I'm going to have like a specific YouTube video for you to even watch to go into like help you create multiple angles.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I put that one together and it was kind of similar to one I had mentioned that I tried to get onto the algorithm for people who are selling this wedding videography type of mentorship. So I saw a few different examples and I kind of like meshed them into one that I thought worked. So yeah, I would appreciate that video and I can definitely make some more variations and whatnot.
Cool. I got you, bro. I will try. Uh, yeah, I've seen their ads recently.
They're
their web.
impressive. I really like what they're doing.
Do you know who these guys are from? Do you know where they're from?
From the filmmaker program. I've been following them for a few. I never joined their program. I always leached off their free value that they provided, but they're super smart guys, so I really like keeping up with them.
Isn't that Jake? He used to be in full-time filmmaker. We split off and now he
Okay.
created Runaway Vows. So basically like he has his like own wedding business, but I think he just kind of does the same thing that you're about to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So that takes me to like my first thing is like your current ad feels the same as other ads, and this explains why. Is because you basically are modeling other people, and I think it'll work, right? Like I think it'll work because like it's been proven in the marketplace to work, right? It's been
Sure.
proven where like other people like if other people are clicking on those ads and opting in, like it should work for you theoretically. And the other thing I've just noticed from my experience is just like whenever you're a new face, you could say literally the same thing somebody else is saying, but they're gonna opt in your stuff because they're like, oh, who's this new kid on the block?
Sure.
So I think it'll work for you. But, and again, I'm not saying you should or should not do this. I would recommend it.
Yeah.
You did the destination stuff. Like if you were to, I know with my experience, again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that if you were to run an ad, say, hey, look, are you somebody that's been doing wedding filmmaking and you feel like it's the same thing over and over, but you're looking to really scale up and potentially do destination weddings? Well, we figured out exactly how to, get that done, crack the code. And what we can do is we can get you, whether you want to go to Ibiza or this or that, make it really sexy. Click the button below and we'll show you how to get that set up. And then what I'm saying is that you don't, just because you have this in your ad doesn't mean that this is all you have to teach.
Mhm.
Show that strategy, but then you can also show a strategy of like, here's how to get them booked in your local state. So what you're doing is you're just appealing to the click. This is just the thumbnail of a YouTube video.
Gotcha.
All we're doing is we're using the thumbnail to get people to click, get them bought in, and then we're having an actual and then so we're selling them what they want, giving them what they need as well, right? We're going to give them the actual thing that's actually going to help them make money and therefore pay you. So I'm just thinking about like, how do you differentiate yourself and be completely different from everybody else? I don't know anybody else that's running those kinds of ads, that's making that kind of an offer. So those are just some notes I made. Now in terms of like running through these one by one with you, so when you say that you'd like to pick my brain regarding the layout of the process, what did you mean by that, man?
So sorry for the confusion. When I type an essay for school, you need to have like an introduction kind of paragraph. So that was just me saying I was going to pick your brain, and then those following up questions were me picking your brain about that. So sorry for the confusion.
You're good, bro. That makes sense. Okay, so you got that. So question one was like, should you run them? So my suggestion was like, yeah, just do an ad to Counterpaste or confirmation page. Down the road, we can tweak this and do something like an ad to webinar to Counterpaste. So fundamentally, like, why are people doing an ad to webinar? Basically, they're saying like, hey, instead of just saying like, hey, book a call with me, what they're saying is, I've got these salivating secrets. I've got this salivating thing, and the only way to get it is you got to give me your name, email, and phone number.
Mhm.
That's what all these webinars and VSLs are. If you really break it down, that is fundamentally what it is. I've got my top four secrets, 4-step process, whatever. And so you're like, man, I want to know this thing. And so you're gonna put your name in. And that's all they're trying to do. Now, what I'm saying is that you don't necessarily need to do is if you're gonna lead with like, hey, we do destination win, they're like, dude, yeah, just let me talk to this guy. So you don't even need a VSL. Now, maybe down the road, once we have saturated that, maybe then what we'll do is, you know, again, if that angle works for you very well, which is the destination wedding, maybe we'll have like a VSL on that. Like here is, I have a 4-step process on getting booked at any destination that you want, whether it's a visa, this, that. And if I've broken it down in a quick 15-minute video, if you'd like to know what that is, just click the button below and I'll send that over your way. And then that'll maybe go to the webinar calendar confirmation page. Maybe we'll do that down the road. But for now, I want to do this. My suggestion is to do this is because that's what we, not just because we just do it with everybody, but the reason we do it with everybody is because there's the least amount of variables. So if you did, for example, going to a webinar or training, now you have to be thinking to yourself, what kind of a lead magnet, what kind of a training would they really want? It's another variable into the mix.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes total sense. I know that the ad that I sent you from Jake, he was kind of selling the webinar, but he's very established. People already know his face, people already like him. So yeah, definitely something to think about later down the line for sure.
And a lot of these people, the reason they're doing the webinar shit, to be honest, is because they don't have something super unique.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And so he's got the same thing everybody else has. There's like 10 people doing what he's doing, which is, I'm going to help you grow your wedding production company. And so he's got to make it sound salivating. Like, I've got this training that's something very new, unique, innovative, different, that you're like, yeah, I want the free value. And so that's why they're doing it. But you actually have something very unique, right? And so therefore you can run an ad right to it, and people should bite on that. That is my theory.
Sweet.
So yeah, I would start here, and then we can build off of other stuff. We can do this stuff. We can build a low ticket funnel. Like, there's so many things that we can do.
Sweet, yeah. And then in terms of the ads, just like starting out for the next week or so, do you want me to put together like 3 to 5 variations, and then you say, all right, let's do this one. This one's the best. Or do you want me to like actually film all of them in one go and then split test like $10 a day for each? Or like, I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, which is, you go into Trello, you type you have multiple, and then everybody's a little bit different, but like I typically say like, hey, just get your I say step 1, get your calendar thank you page video edited. Step 1. Step 2 is edit the one that you think would be the best first. And then let's just launch that ad. And as we launched it, we're editing these other ads.
Gotcha.
And so let's say, you edit, your thank you page, and then you edit this ad. And then before you even get to this ad, this one's already popping off. It's like, all right, screw it. Let me, I'll get somebody else to edit these or something like that while I milk this one.
Makes sense. Makes total sense.
Yeah. Instead of like spending so much time and energy editing all that stuff, like, I mean, that could cut into like a week plus of time. And then on top of that, even like the thank you page video, I always say like, like you don't need titles, animations, or any of that stuff. Like, just something simple, cut out the buts, the ums, and that's good enough. And then down the road, you can make it more highly edited.
When you say, so there's three videos that need to be filmed for this. There's the actual ad itself, and then there's the landing page, and then there's a thank you page. Okay. And I'm assuming the Trello has the landing and thank you page, like general script for what that looks like.
So there's a video on this page, and there's a video ad. There's no video on the calendar page.
Okay.
Yeah. And so yeah, the script for the thank you page is already on there. There are other videos, like there's testimonials and all that other stuff, but you don't have to worry about that stuff for now.
Why isn't there one for the landing page? I know that at least for the destination weddings, I had a video on there just kind of describing it a little bit more. Like what is your philosophy on this? Even for the 6 figure 6 weeks, there I know that that was a really big video that took a lot of time and energy. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So what I've noticed is that just like if your ad, and this is why I'm like harping so much on the destination stuff. This is why
Yeah.
the reason I'm harping so much is if your ad is so mouth salivating, which is like, hey, look, I just want destination weddings. Like that sounds so good to me. Like Ethan, this guy's gonna help me learn how to help me book that stuff. He's gonna book it for me. Okay, cool. And so all they want to do is they're gonna click on the ad, and then all they need is a calendar. They don't need to have a whole explanation of like what it is. They don't need to be sold on it. You're selling them on that here. These people already know what a destination wedding is. You're just like selling them on, hey, look, you don't know how to get them booked. I know how to get them booked, and I'm going to get them booked for you, and you can pay me afterwards. When they see that and they read that, they'll be like, I'm sold. Let me book a call with this guy. They don't need a whole video talking about that or anything like that.
Mhm.
It just doesn't apply. Some cases it applies, some cases it doesn't apply. And then the thank you page, what you need here is you need a video here preparing them for the actual call. You need to get them educated if they have any FAQs. So when you say like getting them educated, like on destination weddings, right down here on this page, you can have a video which explains destination videos more.
Gotcha.
So what will happen is, again, they're going to have an ad. They're going to go to calendar to book it. They're going to come to this page and boom, that's all we need for now. I'm just trying to get you book calls for like 25 to 150 bucks. I just want to do something very fast and efficient. And then from there, you're going to have a discovery call. And then on your discovery call, you're going to ask them questions and learn stuff. And then you might say, hey, dude, look, it sounds to me like you don't know as much about destination wedding. Let's just say you're having a conversation with they've never filmed a destination wedding. They don't really know if this is something that they want to do. They don't know about the benefits. So you'll say, hey, dude, like make sure before you hop on this call with me, which is the final call, make sure you go in there and watch this specific video where I actually share with you like my biggest tips for the destination weddings. And on top of that, we got Jonathan, who's just like you. I had him watch this video and it really just blew his mind. So I think it's going to open up your mind as well. And so then they're going to watch it and then they're going to show up to a sales call and then boom, they're going to be good to go. So in terms of education, that's this page. This page is all about education right here. This page kills objections and gets them everything that they need so that they can be primed for your sales call. This is, yeah. Hopefully that makes sense.
And that page on the thank you, or sorry, that video on the thank you page, what does that kind of look like? What type of information is that? Kind of just walking through like, oh, this is what we're gonna do, more information about it, more in detail, or like what does that look like?
Aman, are you here? Are you? Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull up Aman's real quick. I don't know if I have Aman's here. Okay, cool. So do you know what the opt-in page looks like?
For the 6 figures in 6 weeks, or just like, I mean, I watched the videos in the Trello, so the guy, like I saw what his looked like and whatnot.
Okay. So that's going to be the calendar page. That's the calendar page. And then from there, we have the thank you page. So again, Aman, he has an ad that says, hey, look, we're going to guarantee you 90 hire officials, 90 days, we work 100% free. So when a business owner sees that, they're like, I want hire officials, and this guy's offering free. And it sounds like such an amazing thing that when they get here, we don't need a whole video and all this stuff. We just need something super simple. They read this, they're like, yep, it's congruent. I'm on the same page. Let me go and book a call. Then we have a thank you page. And this is where And there's the content's inside of Trello. It tells you literally what to say. And so we're all pretty much saying the same thing, which is like, congratulations, here's how to prepare for it. Here's how a little bit about how our system works. And then, so we have that. We have like, do not exit. Thank you for booking a call. Please watch the video below. Step 1, 2, 3. We have some about me stuff. And then this stuff I custom create depending on how your discovery and sales calls go. So for example, Aman was getting a lot of people that were saying like, well, what is so unique about your system? Or how does it work exactly to a T? What is different about you versus all these other medical spa that are promised the same thing? And so what me and Aman did is we created this video, which is like how to do this in 5 steps. And so it shows his unique process. So we added this in for him because it works for him. So we probably will do a video like that for you as well. The other thing is testimonials. This is going to be a big part of it, like results, testimonials, stuff like that. Like you can show happy clients, for example, or if you've ever worked with other videographers and helped them, give them advice that they're like, dude, Ethan, the advice you gave me was like, bro, it helped so much, right? Like you can put that kind of stuff in here. We'll talk about this as well, like how to craft this together. But those are that's really the key part is this. Yeah, and then you can have like some of your work if you want to have some of your work. But really the most important thing, the part that like is this the staple in everybody's thank you page is this video right here. Everybody has this thank you page video and everybody has these testimonials. That's what everybody has. And then these other things, we customize them based off of how your discovery and your sales calls go.
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. And then this is
one of the things that like for example, what's big with Aman is like he's like telling people like, hey, unlike these other medical spas that like, you know, they do stock footage, what we do is we do one highly crafted cinematic ads as well as we create UGC content. And so he's displaying both of that because it applies to him, because all these medical spa business owners are like, oh, are you going to run stock footage stuff just like everybody else? And he has to differentiate himself. So again, you custom create this. So if we keep hearing the same objection, like, oh, Ethan, like there's this other guy that's offering to run ads as well for wedding filmmakers. Like, what makes you so different? So now we're going to do is we're going to create content to handle that objection.
Makes sense. Yeah. So it's kind of like you build it out. The more information you get, the more data you collect. So gotcha.
It's literally, and this will come full circle for you now. Just for everybody, this for you and for everybody is like, this is it. This is what the process looks like. It's a feedback mechanism. How to increase your closing rate is like you do your marketing, which is everything before the sales call, you do a sales call. When you do your sales call, you take what you learned from and you ask yourself, what can I say and do to kill the objection that came up? So what can I do in my marketing to do that? What can I say and do to get them to buy into my method to get them from point A to point B faster? And then what can I say and do to get them to buy into myself and my team faster? And so you ask yourself those questions and then you revamp your marketing, you do the sales call. It's a over and over and over and over. And that's the process. And then once you get to a place where you're like, oh, there's nothing I need to do in terms of my marketing anymore. I just need to spend more money on ads because you've dialed everything to a T.
Gotcha. Beautiful. Makes total sense.
And
then how do you, one question, again, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but in terms of like pricing, how do you like figure that out? How do you decide what's a fair rate? I mean, maybe you just throw some numbers out on some sales calls and see what hits. Like, what do you think?
So if you want to write something down, it should be like what you feel and you just throw it out for a while, but really the objective measure is at the end of each month, and this is important for everybody, you need to be at least at a 3x return on ad spend and a 2x in terms of cash collected. So if you spend $4,000 on paid ads, you need to have them paid you at least $8,000 for the month, and then you need at least $12,000 on contracts.
Okay.
If you hit those numbers, that means you can scale the business. Whenever you drop below those numbers, you cannot scale. So if you're charging 10K, let's say you're charging 10K, but then you're converting like freaking like 2% of people, you might not hit those numbers. Versus if you drop your price at 2K and your conversion rate is so high that you're at a 4X and a 3X, I'm sorry, a 4X and a 2X, you're like, oh, my numbers are good. So the amount you charge is dependent on return on ad spend and cash collected. Those are the two most important numbers. Everything else you tweak to hit those numbers. So what'll happen sometimes in business and some of these high ticket businesses is you're charging 5K and then all of a sudden you're less than 2x return on ad spend, 2x on cash collected, maybe you're like 1.75 cash collected, right? So a lot of these people, what they're going to do is instead of charging 5K, maybe they'll charge 5,500. They'll literally just make it up just like that. Why? To hit those numbers.
And what if you're, I mean, I guess this is probably really dependent on many factors, but what if you raise it from 5,000 to 5,500 and then you can't close any more deals, something like that, and you probably have to go back to the drawing board again.
Yeah, it shouldn't. In my experience, like going from 5 to 55 doesn't make a huge difference. But yeah, you would then need to go back and really analyze, like, okay, am I charging so much? Is it that I'm, because as you know, the higher you charge, the lower the conversion rate is. So it's like you have to have a balance there.
Mhm.
So then you have to juggle in your mind, like, okay, yeah, do I have to bring the price down again? And if so, then do I just have to get better at my marketing and my ads to drive costs down, for example? Do I have to do other marketing channels? Maybe I have to do shout outs. Maybe I have to do other things to get inside of, other Instagram pages, right? Maybe I have to do other things to drive my costs down.
Okay, makes sense.
For you though, I'll be honest, like I know we're talking about this stuff, bro. Like it's going to be a non-issue. From what I have seen, and my guess is that you're going to get people to charge 5K, and then, dude, you're probably gonna get like 25% of people to re-up with you at least.
Hopefully.
And so
I mean, think about it, like if, I mean, borderline, people are charging 2 to 3,000 per wedding. Just get them 2 deals and they're already break even.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
if you, and again, I feel very strongly that if you do things right, your lifetime value is going to be probably like 8 grand, if not more,
Mhm.
maybe substantially higher. Yeah. So I wouldn't be worrying about it if I were you. I think the numbers are going to work out more than fine for you.
Sure. And then I also just thought of this. One of my buddies is doing kind of similar stuff. He's famous, he's viral on TikTok. He has a really good following. He knows how to blow stuff up on Instagram and stuff. He's run a couple ads, super like low ticket stuff, and he does like consulting for like $200, $300 an hour for a couple. If starting out, like maybe my conversion rate or my close rate is like 10, 20, 30%, something like that. I mean, that's pretty good regardless. But if that other 50, 70% of people who aren't ready to pull the trigger, would you be open? Do you think it's worth my time to like offer consulting? Like, hey, I understand you're not ready to invest this type of money. What if we did a $300, $300 for 2 calls, $500 for 3 calls, something like that.
If anything, you should be charging more for that stuff, not less. So your buddy's a little bit cuckoo in that. The reason for that is you cannot scale time, right? Everybody has 24 hours. So there's a reason why everybody's in this room right now and I'm having a conversation with everybody as opposed to one-on-one, right? The reason for that is because this makes the numbers work. If I were to hop on a call with just you, Ethan, right now, I would have to tax the shit out of you, bro, for the numbers to work.
Fair enough. I mean,
Right.
but even just like starting out, like,
So
to
answer your question, what you want to do is you want to have a downsell. You want to have a downsell that does not require time and energy. So for example, we had somebody that wanted to join the coaching program. Couldn't afford the whole thing. And so we did is we offered him coaching for one third of it, but he doesn't get access to the same support as you guys do. He still gets the course, he still gets certain things, but it doesn't eat into our time. So we have a downsell for him. So same thing, like maybe you provide just a course. Maybe you provide something else. Maybe you provide a course that shows them how to set up the ads and the funnels and everything themselves. And then maybe you get them to pay for that and they pay for you. They pay for it, they have access to it, and then if they want more, maybe they have to re-up every month, they have to charge again. That would be a way to do it.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
You never ever want to give up your time. Ever, 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 ever. That is the one thing for sure. Ever.
I mean, what about like I wouldn't consider myself like anywhere even remotely close to you or Mason in terms of coaching. What do you think just to like for shits and giggles, like to get better at mentoring and like to have some like, I don't know, like case studies, even like, oh, I helped this guy get, close 20 weddings in the past 3 months or something like that.
Yeah. And so that's what I am saying here. Like throughout the rest of this, I'm telling you, like, dude, throw everything in the fucking kitchen sink at them. Like, give them everything.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. Like the people that you're going to take on, dude, give them a course, give them this, give them that, give them everything to learn. And like like hop on one-offs as well. Like, don't hear what I'm not saying. At the very beginning stages, if you have time, you're gonna have more time than you're gonna have more time at the very beginning stages. And at the very beginning stages, you're gonna want to give them everything, give them your time, give them your energy, hop on one-on-ones, do everything you can to get better at coaching and consulting, mentoring, getting testimonials and all that stuff for sure. What I'm saying is, and I hope you what I was answering for you earlier, where you said, hey, what about this other offer? What I was saying is the Ethan that is going to be here 6 months or a year down the road, that's going to establish business with tons of clients and leads coming in every single day. That Ethan cannot afford to have that kind of a downsell, but this Ethan can.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
A good example of this is like when I first started my coaching program, I would script the ads for them. I would script the ads, I would edit the ads for them, I would launch the ads for them, I would set appointments for them, I would jump on the sales calls with them and
Wow.
help them close the deal. So I literally did everything from A to Z. Now I don't ever set appointments. I don't ever have to script or like they script their ads because I have videos on how for them to do it and they just send it over to me in Slack and it saves me so much time because I'm not like going and doing it for them. I don't edit it for them anymore. I have like course material on how they can edit it themselves. Like I have all of that different stuff. But like in the introductory phase, like I was doing everything, like straight up everything.
Mhm. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I hear you. Okay.
So yeah, and so I'll just to make sure that we cross our T's and our I's. You said something about should you create a video course alongside a walkthrough of the custom funnels and all that stuff? Dude, first of all, like use Loom. Don't, and maybe you already were, but like you don't need a fancy camera and all that stuff. Like I promise you, people care about what's coming out of your mouth more than that. You will drive yourself nuts. I try to do that at the very beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah. So here's the important thing. A course provides people with information. A coaching program provides people with a transformation change. And I know you're hearing the word coaching program. It's the same thing. Coaching program, agency, gym launch, it's all the same thing. And so what's important to understand is just like that's the important distinction is you're creating a transformation change for people. So what you want to do, always ask yourself, like, how do I get my avatar? And again, you're gonna have to start defining your avatar. My avatar is somebody that's doing 5K per month. Here's how long they've been in the industry. Here's what their videos look like. Here's what the problems are. Da, da, da. You have an exact avatar in your mind. How do I take my avatar from where they are to point B, which is what my programs and service promise them to get to? So what that's 10K per month and with the destination wedding, whatever it is, how do I get them? So they are here, they need to get here. And so maybe there's like a river here, and then maybe there's like freaking guys with like arrows pointing at them. Like that's the battlefield from here to here. So you have to create a way for them to get here to here. So like walking on this thing, but then maybe having a shield here so that they don't get hit by these. So you have to create that from A to Z. So what does that mean? Like, how do I help them do that? Are they going to need, so then what you do is you create your product or service in a way to help them travel. That's essentially my way of saying yes to your question of like, should you create course material? But the thing is like, it can't be aimless random information. You have to give them only the information that they need to make that transformation change. If you feel like that it's fundamentally part of the info that they need to make the system work. So yeah, you should create the course material. So another way to be just like thinking about this as well is like, this is something you've seen, Ethan, is this, right? Like this is what we do, right? This is, somebody's here, complete onboarding, they haven't done anything. And then by the end of it, they've gone here to being able to scale an agency to 7 figures if they desire. So I am taking them step by step, every single thing, even the different pathways. Like I've seen this option versus this option. So you have to do the same thing. So complete the onboarding, launch your ads to 6-figure. How is somebody going to launch the ads to 6-figure 6 week? How? They need the course material. All right. So, it's like course material just gives people information. A coaching program or an agency creates a transformation change. And so you don't want to think, do I need a course? Do I need coaching? Do I need consulting? Do I need a Zoom call? Do I need Slack? It's not those things. It's just, how do I help people make that transformation change? And then you just do it. So that's how you want to frame the question in your mind.
Sweet. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Should this be more of a hands-off approach where I teach them the basically discovery sales calls and customer fulfillment? So my question to you is like, what did you mean by that? My guess is that you meant like, do you have to hop on sales calls, have to hop on calls and then answer those questions? Is that kind of what you meant? Like, yo, am I doing a lot of these one-on-ones? Is that kind of what you meant?
Yeah, and I think Mason touched on that a little bit. Like starting out, I guess the rules are a little bit different in terms of jumping on calls, walking them through each of these baby steps. So I guess those kind of kinks will work themselves out, I guess, throughout that process.
You do the same, you do it manually over and over until you figure a pattern out. Once you figure a pattern out, you build a system around it. So for me, for example, and you saw that with your onboarding is like people have that onboarding page and there's literally videos that tell them step to step what to do because I've just done so many reps of it, right? So every single time it's like, hey, I hit this mouse, okay, go watch this video, Ethan. And so you'll get there as well. And so, my suggestion is to do what we're doing here. Don't make yourself available to everyone all the time. Again, down the road. Ethan, right now, you should, for sure. Make yourself available, like Mason said. I suggest you do what I do, which is like 1 day a week, hop on calls, don't do one-on-ones. Down the road, you can bring on an employer or coach to help you with fulfillment once you've gotten a few reps. And I'd say that, once you've gotten, for example, five people to make an ROI, then you're good enough at teaching, helping, you're good enough teaching your system to somebody else to help you.
Okay.
So, help 5 people get profitable. Okay. You're probably in a place where you can bring on a coach. That's probably the first role you want to get yourself out of. Trust me, if I can get out of the role of coaching, I would, but what we're doing here is extremely complex to the point where I can't. But for what you're going to be doing, because you're literally, like you're not teaching people how to run ads and funnels and do all this crazy shit. You're just telling like, here are your leads, talk to them, close them, and shoot the video. So I think you're going to be okay in terms of like bringing a coach on to help you with your business.
Gotcha. Two things. The first being, oh my gosh, I just completely forgot. I hate when that happens. We'll circle back to those.
I know what you mean. Getting those brain farts, it's annoying as fuck. The next thing is, again, we kind of already went over this, but it's like you said, like, should I teach other videographers? Should I teach how to be a better videographer or charge more? There's a lot of different things. Again, it goes back to the thing of like, how do you create the transformation? That's the most important thing. So the question becomes, well, do I need to teach somebody how to, do certain moves or color grade better because it's going to help them charge a premium? If you think so, then you should, right? If you think it's going to help them, you should. Now what I'll say is, down the road, again, you'll maybe learn more stuff to the point where, depending on your sales cycle and your journey, whatever, you might be able to divide into 2 courses. Maybe you have like one for the business side and your coaching program, and then maybe you have one that's like just the artistic side. And so maybe what you do is you don't give away the artist side, like down the road once you learn. And then when they hop in, maybe that's an upsell.
Sure.
Right? Maybe you have a course that's on the art side, and then maybe you charge a subscription for that to increase your lifetime value. And you sell them on that on your onboarding.
Most likely than not, the people that are going to be joining your program anyway are going to be selling weddings for like 3 to 5K anyway. And I would imagine if someone's going to pay 3 to 5K for a wedding, they got to be somewhat decent at filming weddings.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I remember one of my other questions, and it was like best case scenario, within the next few weeks, in the next month or so, if I like really dial in the ads and I start, getting a bunch of discovery calls, how many people do you think I should take on in the first month or 2 months or something like that, to make sure I'm like getting results, to make sure like at what point should I like, again, this is best case scenario, assuming this all works out, like how many people do you think I should bring on? How many do you think is an optimal number of people to start with for the first couple months to ensure everything moves smoothly?
For us, I try to bring somebody in once every other week. I feel like with you can bring somebody in once every other week to once a week.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can bring in 2 to 4 people a week. 2 to 4 people a month. I think you'll be fine.
And that'd be 20K a month, bringing on 4 people once per week. Okay.
What I've seen is I've seen somebody be able to handle about 20 people at once.
20? That's wild. That would be crazy. We'll come back to the recording of this once I have 20 students, 20 people, 20 clients.
Yeah. 20
Yeah.
people. It's not super crazy. We've got right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like half. Not too crazy, not too chaotic.
And also what you're teaching is a lot more complex than what I would necessarily be selling as well. So you have such a specialized knowledge and specialized skill where I feel like I'm just running ads for people and I'm like, shut the fuck up, take more sales calls. Like that's kind of all it is, right? In some ways. So
You get as you do it, you're gonna give yourself a lot more credit. It's a lot more nuance, there's a lot more to it. But like your service delivery should definitely be simpler for sure. For sure. You should be spending a lot less time. Like I feel like a lot of what you're gonna be doing is like helping people with sales. Well, that's what I feel. Because you're gonna generate the leads for them. That's what you're doing. You're already generating the leads for them. You're gonna just teach them how to like nurture them, sell them, keep showing up to your calls. It's going to be more of like an agency than like a coaching program, I think, potentially. So it
Sure.
should be applicable. You might
And sorry, you go.
down the road, like I don't see it being one of those things where like everybody's got to show up every Monday because it's not going to be as like they're not going to need as much support from you. And so you might do something like where Monday it's like sales and then Wednesday it's like some other aspect of the business that people can need help with. And so it's like you have a designated day a week and people can show up to like what they need. Like I need help on sales or I need help on this other thing. And so that's what the business could end up being. Like it could end up looking like that. Sorry, you were saying something, Ethan?
Um, in terms of like getting, I mean, I feel like I have a general understanding like how to, work this out, and obviously with your help, it becomes a lot easier. There are a handful of guys doing similar things that are also kind of different. Like I know there's this one guy who I looked into, and actually I set up a call because I wanted to talk to him personally, but I just ended up talking to one of the salespeople, and the salespeople would absolutely under no circumstances set up a call with the actual owner of it, so I could not get in touch with him. And I even DM'd him, whatever. I could not get a hold of this guy for whatever reason. But he had a strategy where like you put like for $10 of ad spend a day, we'll run the ads and we'll get you this many leads per month. Do you think like what do you think of fair? I'm getting ahead of
Just
myself.
rapid bookings.
Yeah, right. That guy could not get a hold of him for under any circumstances. The guy would not communicate with me. So, anyways, you know him personally?
I don't personally know him, no, but I've seen his stuff for a while. So it's like, yeah, he's tan, you're not. And so that in itself is going to drive in traffic just because people are going to like resonate with you and your work, for example.
Mhm.
And then, so actually, let me take a step back. What is your specific question?
Yeah, so and again, this is definitely maybe too forward thinking, but like his offer is we'll run the ads for you, we'll handle it. Like you don't have to worry about Facebook Ads Manager. Like you give us your info, fully in the back end, we'll set up the landing page, all that sort of stuff. Or instead of having it like all done for you, maybe like a more done with you approach, where you teach them how to do it. You teach them how to set up the Facebook advertising. What do you think, just from now, from a super high level standpoint, do you think would be a better approach?
What do I think would be a better approach in terms of
Like an offering for them? Like what do you think might entice people if it's all just done for them and like we just throw them the leads, or you actually teach them the process, like like teach a man to fish or give him a fish.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is in terms of the overall business model, like just like we do, like I use like, for example, Daniel that just hopped in, he's going to be using like the funnel. Like you hopped in so long ago that you actually record your own videos and create your own funnel, right? But for everybody else here, they just use my own page.
Okay.
So I'm imagining again, you're gonna have to do a few reps to really figure this thing out. But my suggestion is literally using your own page, your own video, your own everything, and then maybe you plug like everybody has like a separate funnel through a different URL. So like you have 5 people, each of them has like a different opt-in page, like URL, but it's all the same content. Maybe the only thing you change is like their work. Okay.
Sure.
And so then you control the ads, you can go to the page. And so you're basically setting everything up, and all they have to do is like pick up the phone, handle the leads and all that stuff. Maybe that's all they have to do. They don't have to set up the ads, they don't have to set everything up. The reason I like this potentially is because it becomes very sticky. When I say sticky, what I mean by that is like they need you. At the
Mhm.
3 month mark, if you're helping them make more money that they've ever made, what are they going to do?
Stay.
They're going to pay you, or maybe you have like a freaking licensing model that's like super high end, like a mastermind where you sell something for like 10K, 16K, and you give them access to using your ads and funnels, maybe.
Sure. I know at least when I jumped on the call with the rapid bookings, I was very turned off by that. I'm like, no, like why would I just let you take care of all that? Like I want to have my own personal business. And I feel like that's probably one of the biggest objections that they get. So I guess there's a lot of testing and you know that goes into that. But
So they don't teach you the ads and the funnels, they run the ads and funnels for you.
yeah, it was kind of frustrating. She was very nice, the woman I talked to. But I'm like, hey, like, you know, I think this is super valuable and I like to scale my business, you know, independent of the reliance on other people. And she's like, yep, sorry, we don't do that. I'm like, you know, it'd be great if I could talk and maybe learn a little bit more. She's like, super busy. I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. It was just like, I was like, really like, wow, this is a little, you know, this is kind of sketchy almost.
So he's literally doing what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So if they're doing and they're so adamant about it, chances are that's why, is to increase LTV. They're probably trying to run the ads for you, get the results so that you're like hooked on it and then you re-up.
Mm.
Because you either that or you have to find other ways to make your stuff sticky. The biggest thing here's what I'll say to you, and this is for you, Ethan, and everybody else here. And I tell Mace this all the time. Our saving grace is I made a fucking mistake, a lucky happy go mistake years ago. And for me, what it was ClickFunnels, Go High Level, Active Campaign, Hyros, all these freaking softwares that I put into the program. And we have people that have been with us for 5 years that still use ClickFunnels and their clients use ClickFunnels. So
Oh
like,
my
yeah.
God.
So we brought
Oh,
one
that's
person
so
on. Yeah, we bring one person on and they'd bring us 20 other people. And so we just get paid forever for that.
Toshik, you're a passive income king. Oh my God. I remember you talking about that and I'm pretty sure you make commission off of my subscriptions and whatnot as well. Yeah, I've completely forgot about that. That's so true. Yeah. Good on you. Good on you.
So that's been like the lucky go mistake that we've made. I didn't even like think too much of it, but that's what's been our saving grace. So like right now, the revenue that we do, the cash that we do, the reason I'm able to give you guys one-on-one and operate the business and keep high margin and all that stuff is because of that. Is
Mhm.
every single month that comes in no matter what.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like if somebody works with us for 3 months in our coaching program and they work with another for 3 months, like cool, that's awesome. Or if they do a profit share, whatever, like that's cool. But even if they don't do that, they're still a lifelong customer because I know they're going to continue to use Go High Level, right? If they made it 3 months and they've gotten results, I know they're going to use it forever. And then on top of that, they're going to sell it to their own customers. And so then we get a percentage from them as well.
Mhm.
So my point is like, it's an accident for me in terms of making this sticky. So for you, it's like, you have to figure that out if you're not going to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
biggest.
like, yeah, that's like buying a shit coin on Solana and it absolutely, you put $20 in and it fucking blows up. That's the
Yeah.
type of accident that well, I mean, of course it was more calculated, but
Basically.
yeah, no, very cool. Very cool. Good for you. And I mean, one thing, and there's other random people out on the internet who are also making money on me every month, like posting YouTube videos, and they put their affiliate link like under the YouTube video. Have you ever considered doing that, or do you do that, or
Do I use YouTube for affiliate marketing?
in terms of like just posting free value on there and getting more engagement, getting more clients, and getting like more affiliate clicks from that?
So another thing I did, here's another mistake, is kind of cool, is I had so when people would sign up with our webinar and our stuff, I had an email blast of 30 days, and I would teach shit for 30 days.
Mhm.
And so some of those emails, we said, hey, here's our funnel, here's how we're getting clients. Click the link below in order to get ClickFunnels Go High Level, and you have the funnel for free. And so we have tons of people that have gone through those emails. We have an email list of 30,000 plus people. Tons of people have gone through those emails, clicked, and then now they're with ClickFunnels. Whether they purchased from us or not, like whether they hopped inside of our course or not, they still are part of ClickFunnels now. And we get commission from that as well. So I never used YouTube, but I use emails.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So point, point is like you got to do something like that by, so if you're going to give away the course material we're going to teach, the ads and the funnels, you have to have something like that as a backup.
Makes sense. Yeah, totally makes sense.
Um, so my offer suggestion, you're like, okay, how do I structure software? I would say 3 months. People can pay monthly if they want. I suggest you use your funnel. Like I said, use your funnel, you run ads. I suggest you have course material that shows them how to nurture and sell the leads, plus anything else they may need to make the transformation change of getting to 10K per month or whatever it is that you want to, help people do. I suggest that you have a system and course material for local weddings versus destination weddings. This can be your main selling point. My theory is that it'll work well. Like I said, I think that if you lead with that ad, the destination stuff, I think it'll work well. I suggest having a Slack and a 1 weekly coaching call. Again, this is like down the road, but for the time being, like whatever somebody needs, you just give it to them. Whatever somebody needs, they need to hop on a one-on whatever they need, you give them to them for the time being.
Gotcha.
So that's that, man. I think that's me running through everything with you. Questions, comments, concerns?
Nope. I'm stoked to get this ad running.
Cool, man. I will send you something, like I said. Let me get the Trello updated, and then I'll send you something tomorrow.
Sweet.
Sweet, man. We'll circle back if you have more questions.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Adam, Tony. What's going on, fellas? Thank you for your patience.
No worries.
Problem.
So I didn't get a chance. So after I created I reviewed your Loom your video, and then I sent you that Loom video. Aside from that, I haven't had a chance to check out more stuff if you sent more stuff our way. So I haven't had a chance to watch this video or this video yet. But specifically, what did you guys want to go over? Chat about the game plan for this last stint of coaching and what we should focus on for our time apart. Okay, yeah. What's brewing in your guys' head?
Well, I got a couple things written down over the past couple hours too.
Yeah.
First, I want to give Adam credit for the 10K paid in full because that was his client that he found. He was just like randomly nurturing them for 2 months at his daytime gig, and then like got him really hot, and it was just an easy spike for that. And that's kind of how we utilized your course material as the sales call, and that sales call script is so crucial. And obviously we customized it, but just the key skeleton parts of it where you're just setting them up for a win, making sure they have capital to be able to invest that day. And then the very end, I think that beginning and end literally are like the game changer. You know what I mean? That's just like it, man. So again, that was Adam. I did the sales close, but Adam basically made that happen. So kudos to him.
Adam, how'd you go about, like, just really quick? I know Tony, you got some more. So I'm just curious. Just the nerd in me is like, how did you subliminally like plant those seeds, Adam?
How did you get out of the valley of despair, as they would say?
Pretty much this guy just came through the drive-through at Sheetz, which is like a restaurant gas station kind of deal. I don't know if they're where you guys are at, but he's just a cool dude. Drives like an old Audi A4, like a 2013 manual, and I just love those cars. So I just started talking to him about that, and then just like, do you work close by? Where do you work? Blah blah blah. And he's very kind of like straightforward about like, oh, I own a business, and then it's just like I just learned pretty much everything about his business right then and there, and then slowly just kind of was telling him what Tony and I have been learning and what we're working on. Started talking to him about different marketing strategies because they have no outbound marketing whatsoever. They haven't done any marketing in the past 8 years that they've been open. They've had the same 15 to 20 clients since they've opened. They've known those people from previous gigs and such. But pretty much they're a metal supply company, but they also consult with companies like construction companies, electrical, construction, it's pretty complex what they do. It's very hard to understand, and their website sucks. So we're just kind of starting with like like a branding makeover. So they can actually be active on LinkedIn and have a social media presence, have a website that's coherent and has like some cool content on it. So that's pretty much what we're doing now, is just kind of like building the foundation to then do some actual campaigns for them in the future.
Yeah.
Um,
Basically, we pitched them on the funnels, and I think this was all by design. We were like, all right, this is where you want to be. We want to be able to like identify your target audience and pitch to them what you're selling. However, your front doorstep sucks ass, right? So we saw this as an opportunity to be like, let's just sub out a website. Adam will crush LinkedIn because he's been working at it for 2 years in San Diego on his own thing. And it was just like some really easy stuff. The Google My Business was $1,100 upcharge. So I think it was like 2,300, or excuse me, 10,300 all in, 10,300 all in. Yeah, dude, it was, they have a great business model. They have 5 employees, including themselves, and I think they do 3.5 to 4.5 million a year. Zero advertising. Yeah, dude, exactly. So we're trying to sign them up for a year. We built them out a year plan. They signed on for the first 3 months, and we're hopeful that within the next month we sign them for at least the next 6 months, if not a full year. And that would include like sales funnels plans and things like that. But again, it makes no sense to spend 2 or 3 grand to bring someone to a shit page or a 404 not found, right? Which happens, right? I've followed ClickFunnels down the rabbit hole just to see, and they're literally spending money to send somebody to a 404 not found page. You're like, holy shit, man, this is crazy. And it's obviously been going on for a while, but so yeah, that was huge. I mean, we paid for our last month of coaching with that money, some experimental money for data for our ads right now for pet groomers. There was a lot of huge wins. We paid ourselves a couple grand each. So that was absolutely huge that we got that. My question right now, that wasn't on the sheet, or one of them, was how should our discovery calls differ from the FEC funnel discovery calls? I understand that like the sales calls should be pretty finite compared to like the information that we got from the 2 different groomers that we interviewed, some of their pain points and things like that. But should we stick to sort of the protocol for the discovery call that you laid out in one of those like 3 examples for the discoveries?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if Aman might be gone right now. He's gotten this question before, and he does such a great job answering it. But I think what I gathered from Aman, if I recall, is just like you're a little bit more nuanced in terms of the wording. So instead of like asking like, talking about leads, you're like, okay, well, what services do you provide, and are you generating leads? So like you're using more specific industry standard words. That's the key thing. The second thing is like you're asking them, do you do, for example, like grooming services, right? Instead of like, oh, like I'm sure dog, I don't know, maybe there's other services, but like, can you help them sell the thing that they offer? So that you obviously got to get them like salivated. So you got to have something you can do a really quick elevator pitch. Like for example, the car analogy, there's got to be something there to pitch them towards the tail end once they're bought in, right? So a good part of it is just like, what's going on? What do you need help with? Can I even help this person? After you determine you can help them, then it's like, okay, here's like a really quick pitch on what we're doing here. Is this something you're interested? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, great. And then you get them booked out, and then just give them a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out, to show up to a sales call. That's pretty much it.
Sweet. All right, that was really good segue. For the FEC funnel, we qualified people that we kind of knew to be unqualified, right? Somebody with like $50 in the bank account that's like just struggling and calling you from a payphone. But for this, our very first lead was like, her website had been inactive since like 2022. She hadn't had any posts since like 2023. It didn't seem like she had a lot of traction. Obviously, we still don't have that discovery call and figure that out. But if we get to the discovery call and we realize, they don't have any money, they're a lost cause, or just like a shitbag. Now that this is our niche, are we booting those people?
It's a good question. I think part of this is also like, I do subscribe to the thing of like one marketing channel, one offer, one niche to get to a million. I do subscribe to that. But I also think like you should maybe have some downsells and some additional things so you can recoup ad spend. And so if I were you guys, as time is progressing, I would be thinking about like, what are some other things? Like, is there something that's like a quick way to set up a website, for example? Maybe there's a way for you guys to set something like that up. What are some maybe what are some maybe some key things that you guys can sell really quick to these people that isn't going to create a lot of operational drag for you guys? I'd be thinking about that. I'm not saying that's the right or wrong answer. It's just I'd be thinking about that. This way you're not just like letting people go, right? Like for example, we just had somebody hop in who, he literally bought the 7 days video marketer, he bought the low ticket thing, went through our funnel, hopped on a sales call. He wasn't like the crazy thing is he wasn't into this stuff. He was into boudoir photography. That's it. And so we sold him on a boudoir photography program. And so we had this other thing that we could sell. So we recouped ad spend. So similar like that, like having things to sell. Now, I'm not directly answering your question. So I'll answer your question directly now, which you're getting at, which is ultimately like, hey, dude, if somebody's unqualified, like, do we just kick them to a curb? Yes.
Yeah.
But before you kick them to a curb, ensure that there's nothing you can recoup ad spend on at the very beginning stages.
We've been playing with like some AI video and stock and just our own edit. And something that like is a super simple sell that we've actually been playing with like on another scale somewhere else is just like a pre-cut, prefabbed edit for very cheap with like their phone number and their website at the end. You know what I mean? Something that is like a $300 or $400 thing that takes us like an hour to do. So that's cool to know that we could like fall back on that if it's somebody who just has zero budget.
Some and it's a fine line, and maybe we can talk about this. Because right now we're talking about holistic ideas, but like once you guys get into the trenches, and then you guys give me specifics, like, hey, Kushi, we got this video thing, dude. Like literally what you're telling me right now, Tony. And then if we come to find like it's not hurting you guys, and you guys are not defaulting to it, like you're not like, oh, it's gonna be the easy sell. You're actually going, right? If you're going for the hard sell, and at the end, there's absolutely nothing you can do, like, okay, we might come to find like, dude, this is completely fine. Let's just keep rolling with it. And is it something we can scale? Yeah, we can bring somebody on the team that they can easily do it themselves and we don't have to worry about it. Yeah, okay, let's maybe roll with it. But yeah, I think, did that answer your question, Tony?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was going to touch on Daniel's point one more time too. That our client, of course, the $10,000 paid in full is like a little elusive. We've tried a number of things. We tried just like creating content and sending it their way. You know, what have we done, Adam? Just like templated like outlines of meetings and like deadlines and all sorts of shit that they're just not getting back to us on. Do you have other methods? I mean, that red alert situation sounds cool, and there's a couple things that we could do that are like, hey, we have 1 month left, and we need to sort this out. But any insight that you can give there as to like getting a client who's not really good at getting back to you when they have a lot of like deliverable or actionable items that they need to take care of.
So you're saying like if you have somebody that you signed on that is not being responsive, like how do you get them to be responsive?
Yeah, and I know the answer is in the onboarding, and I totally did. We crush that one. I mean, I was just like every single week, every Tuesday, we have to catch up every single time, or this is not going to work. And I think the problem is, dude, is that they have so much fucking money and they don't really care. They're like, it's working. We're just going to slow burn on this. I'm just worried that we're not going to offer them enough value within the 3 months that we actually have them on for to stretch it out to a year. So I want to make sure that we like grab them real quick and go, hey, we need you guys to do this so we can do this, right? And then we'll be able to like be in a better position to sell them for the full year package.
So for the first 3 months, I guess like what exactly are the deliverables, and what is the promise that like what is the transformation change or the promise that you're fulfilling on, or the problem that you're solving?
Right. So the first 3 months was rebuilding their website, which is just absolute trash. Fixing and renovating their Google My Business, which is in the same formation, and then a really easy explainer video because their business is so incredibly complex and their website was so incredibly vague that it could have been like applied to any like medium. You know what I mean? It could have been like a videographer for all we know, or something else. So our first 3 months is literally just cleaning their digital doorstep up so we can get to the point of becoming like sales based in, within internet marketing.
So you have that. So you kind of, okay. So when you initially had the conversation with them, did you have a conversation of, hey, we're going to do this for 3 months and here's the price point for 3 months. And then after that, we're going to reevaluate? Like, what is the expectation that was set? Is there any expectation that's set with them that is allowing them to believe like, hey, we might be doing another cycle with these people? Or are they under the impression that like, hey, they're just doing 3 months with these guys?
No. We put out like a full year plan, and they were, they saw the value in each step, each like 3 months that they would like commit to. We obviously added value to that, right? So the first one was like the website was sort of included, although really they're paying for it anyway. But the 6 month point was like a free video, of course, and then the 1 year point was a free video and a free website and something else that I can't remember. But we laid out a pretty good strategic plan for then. They know that their time will renew, in about a month. So again, my problem is that like we haven't gotten enough feedback from them to give them the deliverables they need. And we're having to just kind of cowboy it and just be like, all right, we're just gonna build a website and hopefully you guys like it. You know what I mean? Which isn't a very cool thing to have to do. So and I know this isn't exactly on brand for what we're doing here at CMCC, but it's also, we've sort of pitched them with the idea that we're going to create ClickFunnels for them once their digital doorstep is cleaned up.
So it's tough because it's like if you've sold somebody on, like it sounds to me like you've sold somebody on something like this, which is like hair. Like this is what you sold them on. Like, okay, first we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this. Like basically, like the video that you saw, and then we're gonna go into this phase. And so it's like, yeah, Tony, this makes logical sense. It's like, so okay, great, dude. Like, here's what we've done, Mr. Business Owner. Here's how far we've gone. The next step in the process is this. And if they're sold on that, then they should continue to pay. If they're 100% sold, conviction wise, it's like you're just knocking it out step by step. So it's like you promised them you do this from here to here. Have you done it? Yeah. Okay. And here's what we've done from here to here. You should be expecting these changes in your business so far. Are you seeing these changes? We promised you that when we clean up your, digital doorstep, that XYZ would occur. Are you seeing that? So maybe, and this is maybe maybe you should be providing them with a way to test out. Maybe there's a way, maybe you should be figuring out how to get them to pick the fruits from your labor, for them to test and validate that what you're doing is actually of value. So for example, digital doorstep, we fixed it. You should be driving some traffic to it through your email list, see if that works very well for you. And then they're like, oh, it actually worked very well. We got great feedback. So now they're happy that they made the decision. And so now you say, okay, now next what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from here to here. And you provide homework that they do, things that they have to do to actually see the value that you're providing. That's one thing that can be done. The other thing that can be done is what I see, which is not what you're doing. And I don't like this unless like, I mean, you operationalize and systemize and charge enough, which is like, short form content and stuff like that, which now becomes sticky because you're throwing that in there. It's like, yeah, they're just going to keep getting the content, like something that's a regular deliverable that they're utilizing. And the great thing about short form content is what we're talking about, which is again, you create the thing, they put it onto the ether, and they're actually getting immediate feedback, likes, comments, views. And so that gives them a dopamine hit to keep going. Even though it's not putting money in their pocket, it's giving them dopamine hit. And these people, that should work for them if they've got enough cash.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense. And that's exactly right. I mean, they were like so forthcoming when we had our like discovery and sales calls about like, we know this is going to take time. We're starting from scratch essentially. We have our business model, but no one knows who we are. So we know this is going to take more than just 3 months. Like Adam found some primed ass people. I was just like, it was too good to be true. I held my breath until we saw that deposit, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah, they're not expecting an ROI, which is good.
Yeah.
In these next few months, we have regrouped with them. We had a meeting, probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We were like, hey, you guys have not really gotten back to us on Slack. we kind of need your feedback for us to keep going on these certain things. And they were like, yeah, like we'll be on it. Like we'll definitely start getting back to you guys. And they just haven't since then. So I think what we kind of need to do at this point is just send them a link to a draft of a website and just be like, hey, like if, you know, in nicer terms, just be like, if this website is going to continue to develop, we need some feedback and some information. Like we've had some deep dive calls with them where we've learned a lot about their consulting side of their business. So we do have enough content to put onto a website, and we have an understanding so that we could create content. In the explainer video, I was thinking we could just pay an animator on Fiverr like a few $100 to create like an explainer style animated video. So just those like types of content that can just easily explain what they do to a viewer, because it is a very complex thing to try to consume. But yeah, overall, like we feel good about them. It's just the communication that has been lacking greatly. And I do have one of their phone numbers because that's how I first got in contact with them. So I'm not opposed to just calling him. I think that's what I need to do this week is just get him on the phone if they don't get back to us.
Always, I
We
said
do
this earlier.
understand this is kind of off topic from everything, but we do appreciate your input, Fishy.
Yeah, no, it goes back to what I said earlier, which, you know, is retention is about results plus relations. Right. And so hopefully you can kind of see like how I'm logically thinking about that. Like if you tell them to test it out, what is that? That's results. So trackable quantitative results plus relations, which is how you make somebody feel. So I'm always thinking about that. I'm always thinking about like results that they can measure and relation, which is like, how are they smiling? Those two things. Are they smiling and are they getting results? And so that's maybe the lens that you should be operating through instead of like, do I do X, Y, Z or whatever? It's like, how do I make this person smile and how do I, you know, get them that dopamine with results? How do I do it? What do I need to say and do to engineer that? As long as you do that, they should keep coming back for more, I think. Yeah. So also like that kind of goes back to that, you know, I would say typically I'm pretty firm on the onboarding, right? Like, hey, you guys show up and I'm a super hard ass on that. But in this particular case, it's not so much that, right? Because it's not like they have to follow up with leads and call them and do all this stuff. There's not really much that they have to do. And so I personally, I think I understand what you mean, Adam, in terms of like, hey, I gotta call them and kind of be firm, and also like I agree, but also like again, these are the kinds of people and this is the kind of relationship where like you don't need to, you know, there doesn't need to be any like kind of like serious consequence or anything like that, where like, you know, you got to keep them in check or anything. I don't feel that way. I don't see that from what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like, hey, can you do a quick search on this John Doe? And then if he searches and he finds someone on the first page, boom, you got results. Stuff like that.
Okay. Couple more related questions. What's the science between not duplicating a campaign and duplicating an ad set that has multiple creatives inside of it versus creating one campaign with one ad set inside of it? And then that way, the reason I'm asking is because if one of them is working and one of them is not, it's easier to kill one without feeling like you're affecting the whole situation, if that makes sense.
So you're talking about duplicating campaigns or you're talking about duplicating ad sets?
I think campaigns.
So we got a campaign and then we have an ad set. And within an ad set, we have ads. So are you sure you're talking about campaigns or are you talking about ad sets?
Let me double check.
I wouldn't, yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't duplicate a campaign. I would rather duplicate the ad set.
Yeah, we've been duplicating campaigns.
Are you sure campaigns or ad sets?
So where's campaigns? I
So
can share my screen if you want, but
see here, stop sharing mine. Multiple participants can share, stop sharing. Cool, you should be able to share.
one.
So are these okay, so you've been duplicating campaigns.
Apparently so.
Um,
I love his like nonchalant. Yeah, I think so.
so like
One way or
like
the other. I had a 50-50 shot at getting it right, so I got it wrong.
so like Mason said, you want to be duplicating ad sets, not campaigns. I've been running like the same campaign with like hundreds of ad sets over years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have like one campaign per objective is what I would do. So you have like a traffic campaign, if you have like an IGDM campaign, if you have a leads campaign, if you have a sales campaign, like one campaign, and then everything is housed. So the reason for that is this. Do you want to think about a campaign almost like a pixel? So the more data the pixel has, the smarter it gets, the better the results are, right? So what you're effectively doing analogously is every single time you create a new campaign, it's like you're creating a brand new pixel.
It's like a reset. It's like a reset button.
So if I have one campaign, I have hundreds of assets, like I'm letting that campaign mature. I'm letting the wine really ripen. I'm getting a bunch of data in there. So that campaign, everything within it is going to perform really well.
Okay, that makes sense. And then it's okay to kill individual ad sets within that campaign when they're not working, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. All right,
Yeah.
that makes sense. On a brighter note, we did get 2 actual leads today, 2 calls booked, and they're both responded, which was pretty exciting.
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, I followed up with this one who's going tomorrow, just to make sure she was a real person, and she seemed pretty stoked. And then we just got another one while we were on this call, and I followed up with her, and she's another real person. So it's a really good sign that, like, at least it's converting actual dog groomers, right, that own these businesses.
How much have you spent so far?
$256, and then we've had 3 leads net. The first lead was the one that like has booked again because I don't know, she seems like a crazy person. It's like Adam's aunt or something is just trolling us. I'm not sure.
So 256 divided by 3, guys, that's $85 per book call. Like that is solid stuff, guys. Fantastic. Congratulations, you guys are set. You guys are done.
Peace. No, I
Whoosh.
wish.
Mission
Yeah.
accomplished. No,
Yeah,
seriously. So I'm so happy. I don't want to celebrate too early yet, but so far this is a really good sign.
Yeah. No, we both breathed big sighs of relief when we like verified that it was an actual pet groomer, not just some like rando, you know what I mean? And an owner at that. So I know that like some niches take like weeks and weeks to just find one, and it's like, $1,000 before you do. So again, I mean, there's no guarantee these people are going to show up, and there's no guarantee they're going to buy, but step one, or at least the piece of step one that felt kind of challenging is like complete, or at least beginning.
It's like the way I like to look at it is like everything you guys have done so far. It's kind of like, you guys can throw something on YouTube and it can be years before it pops off. It could be the greatest video in the world. It's just the way YouTube works, right? Just like Mr. Beast, like I'm sure, like obviously his videos now are great, but like there are probably videos in the past that were really good that just never popped off, right? And so what you guys have effectively done is you guys have gotten the algorithm to get to a place where like no matter what you throw it, it's going to pop off like a Mr. Beast video. That's what effectively you guys have done, which means that you are no longer in a place where like your success is dependent on Facebook working or not working. You won that battle. Now your success depends entirely on you guys in terms of nurturing and selling and service delivery. It's all on you guys, which is a very powerful thing. So congratulations, guys. I'm super stoked, and I am proud of you guys. I just want to say that. Yeah.
Do you have any words of wisdom for Tony's 9:30 call in the morning?
Or my 1:30. We have 2 sales or discovery calls tomorrow.
No, just what we went over. And you, as I said, I mean, no, I don't know if did you guys meet Noah?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So Noah would say a lot of times, and he was one of the best regardless, is like he was always refining. And so that diagram I shared, he's always doing that. He's always refining. He was refining his discovery call, refining his sales call. He was taking what have I learned and how do I change things up to get better responses. He was a natural at that. So that's the thing with you guys. Just do that. Keep refining.
Cool. That's exciting, man. I feel like I'm just gonna learn a lot from speaking to these people in general. So we're stoked.
Yeah. Good. What else you guys got for us?
Um, man, the gym is still popping off. Yeah, I think we just basically took over setting for 2 weeks just to show them what it could be like. Plus, like we wanted to make sure that we were right in that it wasn't necessarily the closing because it seemed like the people that she got there were she was closing pretty well, but she wasn't getting them from the sales call to the actual consult. And that's what it was. So
Yeah.
now, I mean, dude, like the last few days, I think I took like 10 calls and booked 6 out of those, you know. So I was like 60% on the last week, which is pretty strong.
So these are like after they become a lead, you're having a conversation and you're having a call and you're pushing them to show up. And you got 6 out of 10 people to say yes.
Correct. And
And
then
how many
she's closed 2 out of those this week for $399, which is 100 more than she was. So I took your advice or Mason's advice. You both were like, dude, that's way too cheap. So I kind of like brought that to them and they agreed to like add some fluff in there for an extra $100, sort of to differentiate it from the previous people that paid. So they've already, since we've made that, they've already closed 3 of those deals that are $100 more than they were previously.
they've brought in like nine about $1,000 and just like recently. So out of those 6 people, how many of those showed up? Do you know?
That's a good question. It was weird. Like there was like 3 no-shows in one day. There was like two people that showed the day before, and then one sold or one bought, one didn't. And then one day was like 3 no-shows, but she rescheduled 2 of them for Monday and sold one of those today. I don't remember when the others came in.
Do you know if she's doing any type of like, how we do like the SOP of like following up the evening before and all that? Like, does she
Yeah.
does?
No, dude, I like every single lead she gets. I'm just like, don't forget to text them. Don't forget to like make it personable, like the night before or the morning of. You know what I mean? And like, I also remind her if leads are coming in at 1 a.m., they're probably not gonna get back to you at 7 a.m. You kind of need to wait till like 9 or 10 till they wake up because likely are like they stayed up all night. Like they found you on the internet surfing at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So I've been like really, really adamant about that. And dude, she's solid, man. She already had like a really good CRM before we even like inquired about it. Like there's some certain things that she's been doing, including the follow-ups that she kind of took the initiative on and we've refined as we've gone.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's great news.
for sure, man.
So that's good news in terms of that. But then also there's like you being able to like look at the situation holistically and diagnose where the bottleneck is and solve that. Like that's an important, valuable skill. So congratulations on learning that, picking up on that, man. That's a huge
Okay.
win.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
What else do you guys got going on?
Adam put in his 2 weeks, or he's putting in his 2 weeks tomorrow at his real job just to get straight on Market Street full time.
Pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting.
Let's go. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations, Adam. That's fucking sick, bro.
Thanks, man. It's been tough. Go from working on film sets every week to working at Sheets, but that's what I chose to do. That's what I signed up for when I decided to move home from the West Coast and start a business. So
Yeah. Well, hey, man, it's good that you were there because you guys were able to close a 10K deal. So that was a good ROI in terms of where you ended up. So things worked out.
yeah.
Good stuff, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. I think that's it. I don't have any more questions.
Me either. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Anything else that you want to chop it up about, guys, or is that pretty much it in terms of this week? Yeah.
Feel good. It's been a big week, so
Yeah.
we need some rest and just kind of figure out where these discovery calls take us. And I may freak out tomorrow afternoon, hopefully with one person that's like, oh, I actually booked a sales call tomorrow. What do I do now? Obviously, I think the next step would be just to sort of take that same sales call sheet that worked really well for us in the past and then just tweak it out based on what we know and just keep it simple.
Hang on. Good stuff, guys. Okay. Um, Ethan, Jorge, do you guys have questions? Anything you guys want to chop it up about?
Well, I could talk about crypto for hours, years, even decades, perhaps.
You missed out. I think, was it last week? Yeah, we actually spent a good 15 minutes talking crypto. You
Are
missed
you
out.
kidding me? Without me? Come
No,
on.
you were
Deep
joking.
dive, dude. Deep dive. You missed the analytics too because I called the downfall and then it actually dropped. So you probably would have saved a few bucks. Sorry.
Jeez. And I could have shorted it too. I'm out thousands of dollars now. Thanks, guys.
Well,
What
it'll come back. You'll be all right.
what's interesting or exciting in the world of crypto for you guys? Anybody have anything exciting, interesting?
All of my main bags are pretty placed. So I've kind of resorted to like full degeneracy in terms of like trading memes on Solana, um, leverage trading a little bit, which is not my forte. I'm better at just buying and holding and forgetting about it. But yeah, I'm having fun. I'm staying busy with the turbulence of the market, so nothing
Yeah.
too crazy.
Good. Did you get what was it, Cogignu? Did you catch
Is
that?
that on AVAX? I did actually. I bought $100 worth a while back. It went down, it went up. So I think that's worth like $300 or so. I don't really trade too heavily on AVAX, but I did catch that one, yeah.
Congrats. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy. I just calculated my portfolio last night. I was looking, I was like, I am not complaining. I'm happy with where things are, and um fingers are crossed that things just can stay healthy, keep going up to our right. I would be terrified if we recover super fast. I'm actually like hoping that we spend like the rest of this month like recovering. Like I would like that actually.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't really have too much more thoughts other than that.
3,200 ETH target number one, 2,900 ETH target number two. And I think it'll hit both of those before it goes past 4,000 again.
That's ambitious. That's what
it?
is that?
What
30%
do you?
drop. Little TA. We're due for a nice pullback right now. That's for sure, especially pre-halving.
Mhm.
So I think you're not that far off. I don't really trade ETH too much. I just buy it and hold it and use it to pay for gas fees. So I
Yeah,
don't
look at that TA right there. 19. Yeah, no, it's good to have. I mean, it's a stable coin, right? So right now the science is to maybe, I mean, it's hard to say exactly if ETH is going to be dominant next or if Bitcoin is going to go back to being dominant again, but ultimately the game is to just throw things into altcoins until you rake and then throw them back into whatever your choice stable is.
Yeah.
Obviously Solana is going to be coming one of those stables soon too, which is exciting because I bought that at $11.
Nice. I got in
But
at 20.
how
That is
many?
at 20.
Damn, that's still really good insight. But yeah, I mean, ETH is my kid's college plan, so hopefully that works out pretty well, and I just get a better position. But to answer your previous question, I think like obviously AI and gaming are hot now, right? And right now there's like a massive AI conference that you guys may or may not know about.
The
But
NVIDIA one, yeah.
yep, exactly. So I've invested in some of the OpenAI dudes coin
Like
recently.
the WorldCoin or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
WLD. And then I just grabbed another bag. I mean, Phil was another one that I think is set to drop a little bit. So I put in like a limit buy about 20% lower than it is right now. Hopefully it's gonna, triple within the next 2 months. Render was a big one that I just took a guess on. That dude
Mhm.
is speaking at that NVIDIA conference, and that one might blow up, but it's all, dude. I mean, I was just telling my wife about this last night. Like, you can do all the TA in the world you want. But if 9/11 happens, if a pandemic happens, if a fucking Israeli-Palestinian war happens, all that shit throws TA out the window and you're fucked. You know what I mean? So you also have to prepare for that and hedge your bets, One thing I learned from 2021 is to always have liquid no matter how good the market is, because at some point you're going to be very stoked that you had just a little bit of liquid left in your account to drop when prices do drop.
Fair
Dan,
enough.
you better get that marker going, brother. We're talking crypto now.
What do you say?
I said, Dan, you better get that marker going. We're talking crypto now. All right,
Yeah, I see.
I'm getting out of here, you nerds.
All right, Mason, fine. Don't buy more crypto.
No, yeah,
But
don't make any money, Mason.
yeah, we
I'm
don't want
trying
to.
to convince. So I got Mason. I was able to convince him back in like 2021, was it, Mason?
Uh,
2020 or something?
maybe 2022, 2021, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So Mason has experienced that part. And I think that's when you just actually were getting in as well, Ethan. Um,
I got
I
in
think
at the like
Yeah.
just as everything was starting to fall is when I
Yeah.
like really got in. I got in at the worst time possible.
I
But
remember.
honestly, kind of one of the best times because then you learn the pain of the market. You learn everything you need to learn in the bear market, and then you're like, oh shit, this is the best time you could possibly ever buy. So blessing and a curse.
I still remember our conversation where it was coming down, and we were definitely like, we're because you and I started talking in 2000 towards the tail end of 2022.
Yeah.
And I remember you like made a gain, and you're like, dude, I made a fucking gain, bro. I'm in the green on this bet. I'm like, bro, you got like 2 years to go.
Yeah.
It's a while. But anyways, I brought Mason because it was, we got him in, and then he unfortunately experienced some of like, some of that stuff. And that's how a lot of people get forged in the fire of like hating crypto. And I don't think Mason hates it. Mason, you don't hate
No.
it. He doesn't
No,
hate
no,
it.
no. I don't hate crypto. Dude, I see the opportunity behind it and everything, but it's like it's something that I don't understand. I don't really know how it plays a role in the future. Like I like it, and I feel like it's the reality of an actual get rich quick scheme. Like I feel like it's like the first one ever, like that
Mhm.
actually makes sense. But you still at the end of the day need to know what you're doing, and I just don't. I just
I,
don't do the
bro,
proper research
I
into
have,
it.
I until this day have no fucking clue what I'm doing. I have no.
That exactly. So like I just like I'll buy it and then I just like, oh, there goes whatever amount of money I spent. I'm never thinking about it ever again. Like, and I'll check in like 30 years. If it went up 10%, I'll be like, cool.
Warren Buffett says that's some of the best investors that just forget about the investments that they made and remember them when they're too old to think
Yeah,
about
I just don't want to be that one guy that like bought like a pizza with like 48 Bitcoin. Because like
Yeah.
that will lead me into depression if that ever
Mhm.
happens. So, and I of course there's another guy actually that was on the news or something. He had like a wallet of like 20 like pieces of Cardano or Bitcoin. He like forgot his password.
Oh, that
Oh
happens
my
so often.
God.
It's crazy. There was one statistic that I recently learned. There's these big institutional investor guys who were interviewed, and they were talking about the statistics between the stock market and crypto over a long period of time. And the number was like in the past 10 years, if you line up stocks versus like Bitcoin and ETH, it's outperformed by like 99.9%. So even if you allocated like a tiny, tiny percent of your investment portfolio back in 2014, like you'd be up a significant amount. So like just the power, like whether you believe it in or not, like just buying it and holding it and forgetting about it for the next 20 years, like there's probably going to be a lot of development done in this industry. So
When
um
you say believe, I'm just curious because I went through that whole thing of like believing, not believing this and that. My question to you is like, I'm curious for both of you guys, Tony and Ethan. But Ethan, like you strike me as the kind of guy like you're a full on like fucking cyberpunk of like I believe in this shit and like it's gonna change. Like what do you believe in terms of like the technology and like where do you see it going and like all that stuff? Like how do you why is it valuable to you? Like why do you think it's why do you think it's valuable? I guess I'm just curious.
I think there's so many things. I mean, just in terms of like an asset class in and of itself, like it just outperforms the stock market a ton. So just like instead of buying gold,
Utility value, like actual real world value, not like price go up and we get rich, like not that value. Like
sure,
you,
yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of like self-custody and just like not having to rely on banks, not having to rely on that sort of thing, and just being able to hold that money in your own. Nobody can lock it up. Nobody can do anything with that money. Of course, you have to like hold on to your seed phrase and not forget that. And then I think there's just, I mean, obviously there's a big use case in terms of just making money. I think that's why there's a lot of people involved. So for me, that's a big reason, and for a lot of people, that's a really big reason. But Just having a whole ecosystem, having a whole like universe that isn't necessarily centralized, where everyone's operating it's in this decentralized fashion. I just think there's so much value in that, and I can't even fully explain it like off the top of my head. It seems like the natural progression for where finance is going to be moving towards. So I want to be a part of it. There's so many like decentralized exchanges, all these different decentralized applications and stuff that do a lot of different things that have a lot of use cases, that have a lot of resources. One super big thing, especially like NVIDIA and whatnot, like Render, Near, IONET, they all integrate AI and like GPU computing in a decentralized way. So like you can buy GPU access, you can buy GPU space on a blockchain. And now instead of like one person facilitating a bunch of transactions, a bunch of different like you need a lot of power, a lot of rendering capacity to run AI. And that can be done super efficiently with a blockchain in a decentralized fashion. So it's as efficient as possible. It's as cheap as possible. I know like Render is way cheaper than just like buying a bunch of GPUs and having to set all that up, when you can just like sanction off a little bit of GPU power and use it for your own business, use it for like enterprise resources. So, I mean, there's a lot of scams, there's a lot of jokes, there's a lot of like nonsense in there, but I think there are starting to become a lot more use cases, and it's starting to be like a lot more practical for, I don't know, the development of the future.
What about XRP? Have you heard it? What are your thoughts on that?
XRP Army, come on.
I held XRP a lot. Like that was my biggest position in the bear cycle. I was like, oh, XRP is gonna blow up. It's gonna hit $10. It's gonna go crazy. And there's just a lot of like issues with the SEC. I made a lot of money. I doubled my money on back in July when they like partially got approved by the SEC. And I'm like, all right, full like XRP is gonna go crazy. And then it went back down. I lost all that money because I stupidly held it. That was my first lesson. That's why I'm so profitable now in crypto, is because I had to lose a bunch of money in XRP to realize you have to sell. You have to take some profits off the table. Like Tony said, like you mentioned, you always gonna have cash available on the side. I'm not a super huge fan of XRP anymore. I think it will have a use case. I think maybe down the line it'll be an ETF. But I don't really know that much about it anymore. I'm not super informed, so I can't really speak on XRP too much, other than it's already a $35-40 billion market cap, and I'm in crypto for the 50x's, and I don't think XRP is gonna 20 to 40x in the near future. So,
well, all my research is like YouTube research and Rumble research, whatever. But there's people are saying it's supposed to like beat Bitcoin as far as like price per coin.
Well, people are saying that about a lot of different coins, and I think
that's true. But what makes it like, in my opinion, like a little more tangible is the thought of it being like a bridge currency for banks.
For banks, yeah.
So basically, like you have one currency, you try to buy a different currency, you just buy the XRP, whatever technology it is. Like it's just like a quicker. It's like 3 seconds per transaction versus days.
10 minutes, yeah, for Bitcoin. Yeah, and I think like the one thing that like really turned me away from XRP and like that claim and that use case is like what happens when they come out with like CBDCs and the banks just are internally transacting on their own blockchains and using their own information that they don't have to pay for XRP to manage. So I mean, yeah, I think it'll always have its place in the market, and it probably will hit $5 to $10 in 10 years or something. Maybe it'll hit that in this cycle. But it just doesn't move enough. It's already too big a market cap. Like Solana, he bought in $11. I bought in at $20. Like it's already moved exponentially compared to XRP. So I'm in crypto to make a bunch of money. Later down the line, when it's more like, risk management and trying to like, hold on to wealth, probably XRP will be a good play. But for the short period, for this cycle at least, I'm going to stay away from XRP.
Daniel, have you invested into crypto, or are you considering it, or
yeah, I have XRP, I have Bitcoin, Doge, Shibu, like all that stuff that like has really moved. I guess I'm up in everything right now, but
Nice.
yeah, XRP is what I'm like hoping for.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you that question because maybe like 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, Ethan said something about Bitcoin hitting like 54K, and then we kind of joked and said like, maybe towards the tail end of these coaching calls we'll like talk crypto a little bit. And so that's what this is.
Okay.
In case you were thinking we're going to talk about funnels and ads again, that ship has sailed. And this is
Yeah.
all Ethan talking about his degen plays. And so we sit in and we just listen and smile and laugh
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like the I don't know. I can go deep in the rabbit hole sometimes and like talking about the US dollar and the economy coming down and how Bitcoin is mostly tied to like Bitcoin and gold will like parallel each other. And I don't know. I just hear, like I said, it's all YouTube stuff, but yeah, I find it interesting.
you yeah, I don't know.
I think that like decentralized financing is the most interesting thing to me. And that is kind of like to Ethan's point, like what XRP is. It's like, yeah, everyone's gonna be DeFi, dude. Like that's the whole point of this whole system is that banks won't have to transact from China, or from like Japanese yen to USD, right? Another thing that I think is really cool is just like the smart contract aspect of it, whether it's like buying a house, buying a huge, equity of some kind, or just like tagging content, right? Blockchain is gonna be able to like help us navigate AI so that like
I get behind that. I was telling Ethan about like the one thing I told like I was telling Ethan, and I might sound like a jerk saying this. It's just how I feel. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. It's just how I feel, which is that cryptocurrency right now, to me, feels like the Apple Vision Pro. It seems cool as fuck. It sounds cool as fuck. You're like, holy shit, I could probably do this. But then you actually put the fucking thing on. You're like, wait, I can't actually do anything yet.
has anyone used one of those here yet, by the way? You have?
Yeah, I have.
It's cool. It's cool.
Cool.
It hurts my neck though.
It's cool as fuck, but it provides no real world utility. Like none. Zero. There's no way that your life gets better. There is no way. The only one way is watching like videos. But even if you're a schnob where like you actually know surround systems and like fucking have a theater at home, like it's not actually good compared to that. And so that's the one thing people have been trying to. Anyways, I'm going off tangent, but the point is like it's cool as fuck and it promises the world, but like there's nobody has had the brilliance to create something that actual adds real world utility yet.
I think just the decentralized like aspect of it is super, super, super valuable. I think when there's enough like banks that go insolvent, when there's enough like governmental crashes and like really suspicious things that are happening and people want to go to a trustless society, like you can't argue that there's something inherently super, super, super valuable about it being incredibly trustless and it being decentralized. Because like that in and of itself, there can be so many scams and so much fraud and so many like human competencies.
That's cool, but like that's cool, but like in what case do we need that right now other than trying to validate if something's created by AI or not? In what case does it like actually help right now? And again,
Political ads, like emergency ads, like shit like that like is inevitable where someone's gonna like pull some whack ass prank. It's gonna be like a bomb threat when we were in middle school, but like it's actually gonna work against like all of Facebook. And to be able to like prove that that's incorrect, I think is gonna be really valuable. And like for art, you know what I mean? Like my first introduction to like any kind of coin, and I wish I would have fucking paid more attention. It was like 2014, Kodak was coming out with like a machine that was sort of like mining content. And it was like basically there to be able to label and track content. So if I posted, a Banksy, they would be like, okay, this is not this dude's Banksy. Fine. But then if Ethan like reshared it or like even just screenshotted it, let's say he just like screenshotted it on his own and reposted it as an ad, that blockchain follows his screenshot no matter what. So then it's really easy. And they were even saying that it would go to the point where as a content creator, you'd be able to charge the person who did that, whatever your fee is, right? So if Ethan got like 4 leads off of that screenshot, then I get to charge them like $80 or something like that, and it would automatically happen. So again, I wish I would have paid attention to that, but like that was what I initially got really excited about blockchain for, was just being able to have like an authenticator that is almost,
It's trustless.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a video by Marquise Brownlee, and like I probably sound like a hater or something. I'm not, I promise. I feel like I've been so like desensitized, um, and like jaded at this point. But it's like he had this video where he was talking about there's like a phone, and it had something to do with cryptos. It was like something on a blockchain, and he was talking about like he has so many people that hit him up, so many people that reach out to him, so many people that talk to him about crypto, like, hey, this is this, and he said like every single thing that they say, it's good for the block, it's good for like freaking GPU energy utilization and this and that, but all roads lead to one thing, which is money go up. When money go up, like that's everything leads to like the ultimate utility. Like no matter what you say, it's all about like, hey, the money's gonna go up. That's it. It's not like, hey, we're saving children. Hey, like this is like solving world hunger, like actual real life problem. And again, I sound like a dick maybe to
No,
some
it's
people,
no, it's fair.
but it's like I'm not like, hey, are we solving like world hunger? Are we solving like, yeah, I don't know. That's just at this point, like everything you I don't know, it all goes back to that. And
I
then
mean, it's
people
the
talk
same
about
with gold, right? I mean, like, how does gold solve world hunger? I mean, maybe somebody donates a bunch of gold, and then
gold
people
was created first. That's the
that
thing. Gold was created first, and then all these other things that try to solve the problem, it's like gold already fucking solved it. And then there's a new utilization after gold. There's the US dollar. Yes, there's a new utilization. It has to be fast transfer. And then after that, after cash, we have credit cards and debit cards, right? So we're solving this problem. And then with crypto, like you don't technically solve the problem of like faster transaction, because like if Bitcoin is so valuable, why do we talk in terms of US fucking D?
there.
That's the number one thing. It's like, yo, if this shit was so fucking valuable, why the fuck USD should be out of your mouth? You are validating the value. You are saying the value of Bitcoin is based off USD. Motherfucker, you worship USD then.
That's just training, though. I think that's just like our own protocol that has been burned into our mind to think USD is the almighty dollar, which technically we call it a dollar, so it is,
If
right?
everybody was under the assumption, and if everybody spoke in terms of price per Bitcoin, Satoshi value,
It's
I'd be
so
like,
coming.
yeah,
It's so close.
nobody,
It's not even funny.
nobody does that.
10,
Nobody.
10 years away, I think, or less, it will be, as USDC will be nothing. USDC will be worth much. I mean, it's already worth substantially less than Bitcoin, right? $1 is $1. One Bitcoin is 67 or whatever it's at right now.
And like at one point, Bitcoin was equivalent to $1. $1 was one Bitcoin, and now it's 67. So it's appreciated 67,000x compared to the dollar. So like, I think, in my opinion, like future thinking, again, this is more like monetary value, like appreciating compared to the stock market, appreciating compared to gold, different other assets. Like Bitcoin, $1 million per Bitcoin is coded into Bitcoin. $100 million per Bitcoin is coded into Bitcoin. There's a limited supply. There's no bank in the world that can print another Bitcoin, not a single other Bitcoin. There's 21 million. That's it. There's totally the finite amount, which intrinsically makes it super valuable. And over time, the more that's burned, the more that's locked up, the more that's forgotten about, the more valuable each singular Bitcoin becomes. So it's just like an asset class of its own. So like, yeah, like it doesn't necessarily like provide a ton of like value and use cases quite yet, but I mean, you can't argue with that concept that it's, the probability of it appreciating value over time is very likely.
So just like a Bitcoin appreciates in value, so does my house. But I'm not rushing to sell my house because I need somewhere to sleep and eat and shit. Right? And there's a finite amount of other cryptocurrencies and this and that. I get you. I hear you. And I think the value I see in it is that we're all on the same page. We're all like agreeing and
pinning this thing on and we give it the value. We give it the value based on what we're saying and how we feel.
Mhm.
I'm just in here trying to get rich as fuck. That's it. Like you, Ethan. That's all I care about.
Amen. Amen.
And so, yeah. What are like some of the best plays you guys have made so far?
There's this guy, Luke Belmar, who made a fuck ton of money on Pancake Swap in the last cycle, which is one of the biggest decentralized exchanges on Ethereum. And I was like, okay, what is another ecosystem? What's another blockchain that is already successful, that already has a ton of use case, that is super valuable, but doesn't have a huge ecosystem yet? And that was Hedera, HBAR. And so I loaded up on HBAR. That's my third biggest holding right now. It was at like 4 cents or something. Now it's up to like 9 or 10 cents like that. So I almost doubled that money. But I looked at the DEX, the biggest decentralized exchange on the Hedera ecosystem, which was Saucer Swap. And at the time it was at like 15, $20 million. I checked it out. It looked good. The UX UI design was incredible. I'm like, this is when HBAR gets its time in the sun, it's gonna do well. And HBAR went up in this, we had this, past month or two, we've had this nice little run up. And so that's that. I put a few $100s in that 10x. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. I've done a couple 10x's on some like meme coins, like very nominal amounts. I've taken not crazy amounts of money. I'm most proud of the Saucer Swap play because I had conviction. I set my bet and I placed it. The other stuff, like I think is more longer term. So like Gala, Render, I have made a lot of money on Render. I bought in at Render at $2. So that did super well. I had a ton of conviction on that. I mean, Koshi, you saw my spreadsheet. I go overboard. I go absolutely insane. Actually, do you guys mind if I share my screen to show you that spreadsheet? I just want to show you guys because I put a lot of love into this. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are like the main conviction plays. Ethereum, of course, Solana, Hedera, Atomos, Avalanche.
Polygon's gonna do really well this month and next month.
Matic.
Yeah.
Matic, dude, Matic was one of my biggest 2021 winners. I don't even want to like tell you guys what I bought that at, but it was less than 10 cents.
Jeez, let's go.
Nice.
But I mean, I've sold most of it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the sweet plays, like Solana, I'm still holding. But so with the ETH, you're at 0.67. Okay, yeah.
This don't even mind ETH. I literally own ETH to pay for gas fees. Like Ethereum is gonna hit maybe 10,000, maybe 15,000 in a huge blow off the top. It's not enough gains for me to wanna I'm only working with like my full investment is like $60,000 to $90,000 invested. And I'm going for 20 to 40x in my portfolio. ETH is not going to get me to reach my goals. ETH is not going to get me there. That's where the degen plays are. Like I'm placing bets in like gaming coins. Veracity is an ad blocker basically for like these decentralized exchanges. Dmail this is another great use case. It's email on the blockchain, so you can securely send emails on the blockchain. And there's actually another thing that's come out where you can take calls between different wallets, which I think is absolutely crazy. OPSEC is like AI. I've been buying a lot more AI coins just because the hype is there and the narrative is there. So like sometimes it doesn't even have like I don't even know what OPSEC is. I just know it's an AI, so I threw money at it.
That's a good idea, dude. It's not dumb. Like this is literally how you're supposed to play it.
Yeah.
That's how I won last time.
Literally.
Play a bunch of
Decentralized Social. Actually, that was another one of my really good plays. I put in $250 at like $9 and it went up to like 40. It's at 33 right now. That is a decentralized social media. So the social media, the content is all on the blockchain, on their blockchain. It's a layer one. And so I think that's going to have a crazy use case And I think what Elon Musk is trying to do with, and I just watched an interview with Elon Musk today, is like there's so much censorship. Of course, like obviously you don't want to see people getting murdered 24/7 and like child pornography and stuff on the internet. You know, of course they censor that on Instagram and Facebook. But I think decentralized social media that isn't censored, that people can say what they want to say, is gonna have its time in the sun at some point. Maybe not in this cycle. Maybe DeSo's a hold into the next cycle. But just based off the narrative alone, I mean, you look up DeSo on the internet, like it looks beautiful. They already have, you know, tens of thousands of people already on the app. So I think, I mean, this is just me spending countless amounts of time speculating on crazy different narratives. But I think a lot of these will have their time in the sun at some point in this cycle.
I agree. I have Ethereum, Solana, Celestia. I bought Hedera in the last cycle. I don't have Cosmos. I have some Avalanche. I don't have Quant. I have Polygon. I have Render. I don't have Gala. I have DeSo.
Good.
What else? I've heard of Veracity. Didn't look deep into it. I have heard of Saucer Swap in the past as well. Did not invest in that. As you can see, I'm more safe. My stuff is pretty much all. So here's what I do. I do blue and then mid caps, and then instead of low caps, I do like meme coins.
Mm.
And so I will do meme coins, and I'll just, like, for example, I don't know, I shared this on social media during the last cycle, but like, for example, there's this girl who told me about Akita and Shiba, and this is like before it went mainstream. And so we dumped money into that before Elon Musk Saturday Night Live, and that made an absolute killing. And from there, I just like it, like that's what I do in terms of my low cap play. So I'll just take profits from my mid ticket, mid cap, high cap, roll those over, and then gamble, and then roll those back in. And all I do is it seems like you don't spend a lot of money. So all I do is I roll my profits into Ethereum, Solana, and Matic.
I'm not at that point yet like I'm just I gotta get through this cycle. I have to build up a good financial standing in crypto to justify just holding Sol and ETH. But I'll sell, like throughout the cycle, I'll sell into those. Like if some of these 10, 20, 30x and I want to get out and just hold.
Yeah, I just sell in. Yeah, I just sell into it's safer than, like, I used to do that, sell into Bitcoin, but now it's obviously like so high that it would be negligible. So I sell them into those. You said your goal was what, a 50x?
Yeah, so down here, so yeah, this is total investment. Just a what is that? 12x of this is 1.2. And then I plan on leverage shorting with like 2 to 300K, which is easier said than done. We're not there yet. I have watched YouTube video after YouTube video of people shorting it, and I know it's hard to do. So this could really hit the fan with this. But if I put enough margin in and I set, enough, playing room so that it can go up a bunch, I'll just hold it sturdy. But if it drops from 125K back down to 50, or from 200K to 100K, then I 10 to 20x on leverage, 100, 200K, that can turn into a bunch. So
you're doing 10 or 20x on leverage?
I mean, yeah, I'm still, yeah, I mean, yeah.
You
And
better move to a different country when you do that shit, bro, because when that shit liquidates, like they just come after you right away, man. You get like 10 hours and they like knock on your door.
No, I agree.
That's like, I mean, what happens? How much is that? I mean, it's just out of curiosity, how much is that if you lose, if you get liquidated?
You lose 100%.
Yeah.
100%. But like so like right here, one of my plays on Veracity, I'm shorting Veracity. If you put in more money, so if I put in $50, my forced liquidation price increases. So if I put in $100, my forced liquidation price becomes a lot higher. So if I put in 100K at ETH, we'll say Bitcoin. So say ETH in this cycle hits 150K, And I'm like, there's no way in hell. Maybe we have a blow off top and hits 200K. There's no way in hell it's going to hit 220K. So if I have 100K leverage and I add on top of that, if I adjust the margin with another 200K, and my liquidation price is 300K for Bitcoin, and there's the probability of it hitting 300K is so unlikely that if it does do that, I deserve to lose that money. That's my mentality. That's totally my mentality. If you put enough margin in, it's practically impossible for you to get liquidated. Not impossible, but close to impossible. So
I don't know. I just saw a lot of people lose their money through those 10x's last time. Just be super weary. That's all I gotta say. And I mean, it's doable for sure. And people make, their entire lifetime's fortune in a matter of minutes. But you can also, I mean, you seem like you got in at the end of 2021. I mean, there was like all these cases of like 20-year-olds committing suicide because they just got like a bill from Robinhood for like $1.3 million.
yeah.
I mean, that's real, man. And that's like that'll haunt you for life, So just hedge your bets, as they say. You know what I mean? If you're gonna take one of these positions, you better take the opposite position too, man.
No, you're right. Totally fair. Totally fair. I hope that by the end of the cycle, I'm not greedy enough to take a huge position on shorting it. But there is a lot. I mean, you just look at Bitcoin on the way down, and you're like watching it for 18 months go down. Like it's kind of, in my opinion, not stupid, but like, why would you not take the opportunity? The market sentiment is horrible. Like, it's gonna go down. Like at any point in this cycle, you could have bought options and shorted it and been totally better off. There's going to be a major blow off the top, and it's going to retrace. It's going to retrace 70%. So if you had 10x leverage, of course, it's really difficult to find the top. But if you did 10x leverage with that and you 7x your money, so from 100K, anywhere here, 100K that you put in, and sure, yeah, maybe you lost a little bit of money on the way up right here, but if you held strong, that's I'm willing to take that bet. And even if I don't ride it the whole way down, even if I'm like, okay, this is the final, it's not coming back. Even if I, ride it 4 or 5x, like that's enough to pay for tax, at least, Like that's kind of my plan. Like when I short it, I just want to cover tax at that point. Because the tax bill of 40%, like some of these I'm holding for a year, like some of these will be 20%, but not a lot of them. Not a lot of them. So that is the short is mostly just to cover the tax, honestly.
Smart, man. You got it laid out for sure. It's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, well, hopefully it pans out. We'll reconvene in 2026.
Where are you? I feel like an old boring parent that's like, hey, are you covering it up? But hey, Ethan, where are you storing your crypto, man? You have it stored somewhere safe? Are you good?
Yeah, I have 2 ledgers. I have, I think, 10 or so just like hot wallets like this. I do keep some cash like Coinbase. I probably shouldn't keep this much on Coinbase, and like I have an uphold in something, but just for like ease of use, I don't know, I kind of like it on here. But yeah, most of my holdings are on cold wallets or hot storage
The
protected.
reason I'm sharing this with you is I lost a fucking house because of this.
On Voyager?
Celsius or
Voyager,
Me too.
Gate.io, a bunch of these platforms, the last cycle that delisted from the US. And so, I knew better. I knew
I
better.
had 40 G's in Voyager. It dropped down to 5 in November of 2021. I was like, all right, I'm going to get that shit out. And it fucking disappeared. And guess what, man? I'm also a Bit4x owner too. I have some Omi coin that's stuck in my MetaMask wallet, luckily. But most of my like fun hot bags, like these little meme coins that were on Bit4x, just skyrocketed as soon as it went dead. So that's in 3 years of trading, I've had 2 platforms go dead. So, I mean, I think Coinbase out of anyone is okay, but you still have to reference the great debauchery of Robinhood and Elon Musk, right? And like, he was asking about biggest plays. I mean, that was my first play, my biggest play. I bought $1,000 of Doge at 0.006. You know, and it skyrocketed up to 10 cents and I sold a good bag of that and then I kept the rest till 60. But it didn't do me any good because by the time I got to it, I think it was down at 40 or something like that. So I guess, you know, I hate to like be a weary person,
I
but
appreciate
you
it.
know, been through all this shit before and you have big bags, dude. I mean, that's definitely no joke. You don't want to screw around with that. So I think your plan's awesome, and I think you're gonna win, especially with like the low cap thing. You're right to just keep playing those in the alt market. Just like platforms, no matter how big they are. Again, i.e., Robinhood, like the biggest trading platform as we knew it at the time, defaulted just to like screw everybody. And Coinbase is like dropped
Yeah.
off at some very inopportune times in the past couple months. You know what I mean? Like there's a
Yeah.
few like drops and then there was a few gains that it was just like maintenance. You know, they just keep doing that. So I think if out of what you have, 14 grand in a hot wallet is fine, but or you know, just a hot account, but yeah. You're doing it right, man. I'm excited for you. You're very young and like you're on your way with crypto, you're on your way with this program. So kudos to you, man.
Pretty sure you can only join just for this like crypto conversation. That's pretty
Bruh.
much.
No. No. You provide so much value and so much knowledge. I would be stupid not to join. So, but thank you. Yeah, hopefully it works out. I'm sure Coinbase will probably shit the bed a couple of times. I saw zero balance like a month or so ago, which absolutely terrified me. I was like, oh, and so I actually moved some more money off it because I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna play with this. But it's just so convenient. Like it's just so nice to have on here. And I know that's like, favorite last words. But I don't know. It's just for now.
I hope you don't have to experience that, but this is why people like Tony and I we sound like boring old grandpas is because we've had
You've
the
been there.
underneath us several times. I've had the rug pulled underneath me so many times.
Sure.
So, but yeah, man, like that's exciting. Thank you for starting the conversation, sharing your portfolio, and you know, it was an exciting conversation, and my fingers are just crossed that you know the show doesn't end too early. I think everybody, it's so interesting. It's like so many people that have been in the space are like freaking out right now. Everybody's like thinking, oh, it's gonna end like so soon. Um, I don't know. I think it's interesting that so many people feel that way. Um, I do think it's strange how we've already gone so high and it hasn't even like fucking halved yet.
Yeah.
Part of me is just like it's common sense though because of like the ETF, right? Part of me is just like it's common sense.
Yeah,
Dude,
like
between BlackRock and Grayscale, that didn't exist last time. You know, the
Yeah.
hundreds of billions of dollars we don't know what the bottom, we don't know what the floor is anymore of Bitcoin, unless Grayscale and BlackRock have some amazingly coordinated sweep, which is very fucking possible. You know, the floor is probably like 40 now, right? Like, it's just crazy to think that. Like, we don't know what that floor is anymore. If it hits that thing, it's gonna go poo way far up after it hits, you know? I'm I don't know. It's a 50-50 shot, man. I'm hedging my bets too. Like I said, I've still got some Bitcoin and plenty of meme coins, but I've also got enough cash to where if it really bottoms out, I'll feel good about buying back in then.
mhm.
If you guys buy some stuff, let us. I'd be curious to hear. I'm done buying. This that I don't. I For me, all I do is do you guys follow Ben Cohen?
No, I don't think so.
You guys should totally check him out. I just use his. That's all I do. Like I am super boring. All I do is let me see if I can share this. Where is it? I forget where it is. But like he's got something which is like the risk metric, which shows you like how likely that we are at the top, and it's been correct. I went over
Oh
this.
yeah, you showed that last time. You showed that last time.
Yeah. And so I just use his risk metric to buy up to like 0.2. And then after that, every day, all I do, I just have an SOP. I just look at the pi cycle. And so what we've seen, I don't know if you guys are ever you guys that, but like up to the top, bottom, it just bounces. And the moment it crosses over, that's called the top every single time. The only time it has not called it was literally the second peak of 2021. Other than that, it's called everything. And so I feel like it's probably going to call this one as well. Maybe it's like 3 tops, maybe it's 2 tops, but I feel like it's definitely going to call it first. And so I just look every day for the risk metric. I look for where the pi cycle is. And then I look for what I call like liquidity plays. And so for me, it's just like big fucking exit news. It's like extremely bullish news. And so if I see a peak with extremely bullish news, I'm like, okay, that's probably like all 3 of those have to match. And when they match, I just sell everything. That's what I've always done for like the last cycle. And it worked out very well for me. So I just thought I should. So I buy really low and then I don't get FOMO anymore, which is interesting. So I'm too scared to get FOMO. When you lose a fucking house, you don't get FOMO anymore.
Yeah, I bet. Oh my God, that's crazy.
There's too many coins to get FOMO anyway, man. You know what I mean? There's so many that are going off every day. It's like pick a genre and go with it. DeFi, gaming, AI. It's like just choose one of them and they're gonna pop off sometime in the next month.
Yeah, it's like fucking being a monkey, blindfold, you throw it, you're gonna hit something. But guys, it's been a good one today. Anything else you guys want to chop it up about? I think we'll wrap it up today for now.
No, I think that's it.
Okay. All right, guys. Daniel, did we scare you away? Your first coaching call?
No, man, not at all.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
It was interesting watching you guys, especially the last part here, Bitcoin. I'm like a I don't know, like a 2-year-old with this stuff. So hearing you guys use words I'm Googling over here.
You heard it here, Coach Sheik. You got to add crypto to the end of all your coaching calls now. That's
Yeah.
UVPs, unique value props.
It was fun. We'll do it again. I mean, we did it last week. We'll do it again next Monday. Let's see. Maybe we can come to these Mondays with like some interesting news that we learned this past week or something. It might be fun.
Meme coin of the week.
Yeah.
That's what we do at a crypto club. Everyone has to come with a new crypto to talk about.
Let's go. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Sweet.
All right, guys. That's a wrap for today. We'll see you hooligans here next week.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yes.